Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the Platform Sports Talk Show, your Wednesday night sports delight.
Yeah.
I am your boy, Smooth.
Okay, Smooth. I'm B. Baker.
And when it's about sports,
It becomes our business.
and business just picked up.
Yeah.
What's going on with your brother?
What's going on, man?
Man.
Okay. Letting it
There
fly,
we go,
baby.
letting it fly on
2020.
on a Wednesday night.
Yes. We appreciate y'all coming in, stopping by, hanging out with us, man. You know, a lot of stuff to talk about.
Man.
We got a good show coming up.
Yes,
man.
we do. If y'all didn't watch the Facebook pre-show,
That's y'all fault.
y'all are definitely in store.
For a treat.
You know,
We got a comedian on set.
yes, we do.
Low key.
You know, we thought we had a
We thought we got a regular columnist coming in. Turns out we got an actor, a comedian, a sports columnist,
a twin of
just
Robin
an
Williams.
all-around good guy, man. I like this dude already, man. I want him to come back every week if it was my choice.
Man.
But hopefully we see this guy again, man. You know, I like this guy, man.
You know. Hopefully we can get something to range where he can come maybe once a month or every other month, something like
Something
that.
like that.
So,
We gotta.
you know,
I know he got to be busy though. So you know, we gonna work around his schedule. You know?
So with that being said, everyone, let's bring over to the show. Without any further ado, here we go, Mr. Benjamin Hockman from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
Yeah.
How you doing,
What's
Ben?
up, Ben?
I'm awesome. Thanks for having me. This is really fun.
Man,
Appreciate you coming, man.
It is
Definitely.
definitely an honor to have you on the show. Once again, if you didn't watch the Facebook pre-show, make sure y'all follow
go
us on
back and
Facebook.
look, yes.
All the information right above my head on the screen. Show us some love on all them social media sites.
Yes.
We're going to get it in. Have a great time. Now it's right above Ben.
Yep, there you go. Look, you're a pro already.
I got it right there.
Right, I got it. I'm holding it.
But it's definitely once again an honor, Ben, to have you on the show. Give for those watching you for the first time who may not be familiar with you, let everybody know a little bit about your background.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
I know you said that you used to work in New Orleans and then Denver,
Yeah.
and St. Louis. But you can let everybody know the story a little.
So I'm from St. Louis, born and raised. Went to Mizzou, and I always wanted to be a sports writer. Well, I always wanted to be a sportsman, but wasn't
Right.
very good. So, but no, even at a young age, I love telling stories, writing stories,
Right.
and so I was like, what can I do? I'll go to Mizzou, study sports journalism, and from there was fortunate to work for the New Orleans newspaper and then the Denver newspaper. And for many years, I was an NBA beat writer, which was one of the coolest jobs you could have at a young age, where you're basically traveling the country, going to NBA games, but you're also not ever at home because you're always in Cleveland or Portland
Right.
or New York or whatever. But it was a bunch of fun. I covered the New Orleans NBA team and then the Denver Nuggets. 2013, I was fortunate to be promoted to columnist at the Denver Post, which meant I was working with Woody Page.
I was about to say,
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
from
Yeah,
You
yeah.
should have had a blackboard up there.
Right. Yeah, he's one of my mentors, and
Okay.
yeah, he was really cool to me. What a cool experience working there.
Heck yeah.
But like I always, being a columnist, man, like I always wanted to be like Bernie Miklasz because he was the guy
Okay, yeah,
in
yeah.
St. Louis.
Legend.
You know, it's funny. Like I mean, I grew up liking Ozzy, of course, and liking different athletes. But like one of my favorite sports people was Bernie Miklasz, the columnist of the paper. He told it like it is and had fun
Right.
doing it.
Yep.
And when he left for radio in 2015, there was a job opening, and I was like, man, who are they going to get
Right.
to replace Bernie Miklasz? This guy or girl better not mess up. This is a big deal, replacing
time,
Bernie.
right.
And then sure enough, I was fortunate to be offered the gig. So I moved back to St. Louis, met my wife Angela, and now we'll live here forever.
Shouts out to Angela.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Angela. I was just about to say that.
Yeah, she
Appreciate
showed-
you
she showed
keeping
us
them here.
love.
Yeah, yeah.
Showed us love and
Thank
had a
you.
little like on our tweet and everything.
Oh,
So,
good.
matter of fact, everyone who's watching right now, please share this stream with all of your friends.
Yes, please
We're going to
do.
have a fun time tonight, a hilarious time.
Yes.
Talk about local sports, talk
Yes.
about what's going on around Major League Baseball, NFL, college, NHL, all that. We have you
Or-
covered for the next few hours.
And they can call in and we can discuss whatever. You know, y'all can call in, comment, whatever y'all want us to talk about. It's a live show. So whatever y'all say, we going to do it.
Just make sure that it is in regards to sports, though.
Only sports. Only sports. We ain't trying to solve no cases out here. We ain't trying to help no
politics.
relationships.
No.
Definitely no politics, man. So yeah,
that would be a whole nother thing.
Oh my God.
And no, we ain't doing that right now.
We got too much going on with that.
Actually,
right
let's talk about Iran.
Actually, let's not.
Right.
So as you see, we got the wine going already. So we get the party started on a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
So going back, what moment in your life did you like realize, you know what, I want to start covering sports?
Well, that's a great question. I don't know if there was like a aha moment, but funny enough, I was down at Busch Stadium today because I'm fortunate to be on the Red Ribbon Committee, which is basically they vote for who should be in the Cardinals Hall of Fame.
Right.
They come up with a ballot, and then that we vote for somebody. And anyway, long story long is, I was talking with somebody down there, like, what was your earliest Cardinal memory, your early year? And that 1987 Cardinals team, I was 7 years old, and it was like the first time.
We the same age.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, cool.
Class 98?
Yes, sir.
All right, now
yes,
we're talking.
sir.
Yeah.
Man, I just turned 40 on Monday.
I got it in May 5th, Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, my
Come
man.
by for
Forget y'all.
Oh, yeah. Class of 98, we take it over right now.
I like it.
Yeah.
The 2000, y'all. They'll be all right.
The youngsters,
Y'all
millennials.
cool, you know.
Aren't we millennials? I think we're like,
No, we not.
yeah.
I am.
He a
Oh,
Generation Z guy, kind of like.
He's a Z.
Yeah, I don't know what they call them.
I don't
We the
know.
Pepsi generation. We good. I
Right.
don't know what they. The 2000 guys, they on this weird cusp
Sure.
right now. You know. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry, man. Go ahead. Man.
Oh gosh. Oh no. So the '87 Cardinals was like
Right.
and it was really cool. I remember we were watching the playoffs, or excuse me, the World Series out of my house. And my dad and uncle, his brother, went to the game with Grandpa.
Okay.
And my dad wore like a pin from the 1964 World Series. And sure enough, we were sitting there on our couch, and they come back from commercial, and they zoom in on Dad and Uncle Jeff at the game, but mostly on Dad because the guys are talking about the pin.
Right.
Like, oh, the 1964 World Series, great memories, and they're showing my dad.
Good camera work then.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
How they just find a pin on them?
I guess they like must have set it up during the commercial.
Had to.
Yeah, because I've seen the replay since.
Okay.
And so they zoom in and they're showing. Actually, my grandpa was not at the game, as you'll find out in 18 seconds. It was just my dad, and my uncle, and they're on TV, and it's national TV. It's the World Series, and the phone rings, rotary phone naturally,
Right.
right. And my mom
Down
answers.
the wrong number.
Right.
Right.
Oh, I got to do it again.
Especially after the 6th or 7th one. you've
Nine
done-
was the worst.
Oh yeah. No, I'm saying like you've got 6
Oh yeah,
correct.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Right,
Then you
right.
mess up on the last
Oh
one. Yeah.
my God. Yeah.
You got a sprain on your finger or whatever. So yeah, I already know.
Right. So it's my dad and uncle on TV, and my grandpa calls. He's like, "Oh my God, I just saw your dad on TV. Who was he with?" And he didn't recognize his other son.
Grandpa.
It was so yeah. But it was a fun moment for the family. And I was 7 years old, and they're playing baseball, and you
Right.
got Ozzie and Willie, and so many great athletes
Yeah.
and talents on the Cardinals
Heck yeah.
that kind of sucked me into baseball.
Yeah, there you go. I think that was my first year I went to a baseball game was in 1987.
Oh, cool.
They gave us a little small little bats.
Yeah.
And I remember Tom Brunetsky hit a home run, first home run I ever saw.
Oh,
Okay.
Wow.
Yep.
That's dope.
That was crazy.
Bruno.
Yeah, I have a few baseballs from going to Busch Stadium, and one of them is a signed ball from Lee Smith.
Okay.
Oh man, greatest closer.
Yeah.
Man, that was my boy.
He's in the Hall of Fame now.
Yes,
You're
sir.
right. My late grandmother was a huge fan of Lee Smith. She loved Willie McGee.
Yeah.
She was crazy about Willie McGee.
E.T. McGee.
And she always loved, and I'll never forget this, especially when I go to a game, in person.
Right.
But she always loved seeing that clean home white uniform.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know,
Crisp.
Like
Yep.
we've always been known to have one of the best uniforms in all.
And you know what the
sports.
worst thing
yeah.
was? When they had a double header in the white uniform. Like back in the day, though,
right,
not now where they gonna
You know,
switch it up.
you know the
Right.
AstroTurf and everything.
Like now everybody got yellow and brown on, look like the Padres or something. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like them type. Yeah.
Right.
Right. So, so being that feeling after you started being a sports columnist, that feeling when you realize, wait a minute, I'm interviewing Pujols, or I'm interviewing this guy, I'm
Right,
interviewing
right.
that guy. Like, what was that feeling like? And do you still have that feeling today?
Great questions. To be honest, yes. Short answer. It's funny, like, because when you're around the guys a lot, like the St. Louis players, I don't really get nervous now, like, because it's almost like just talking to you, just talking to regular people that you see every day, you hang out with. It's just at work. It's almost like the TV show The Office. Like, but people at my office are like, whether it's like the Cardinals broadcaster Dan McLaughlin, or whether it's Yadier, or whether it's fellow writer. We're all in the same place, the same ecosystem, same time. But I was 22 years old, and I graduated Mizzou and worked for the New Orleans paper, and it was a perfect time to show up in New Orleans because the NBA team showed up the exact same year, moved from Charlotte. And basically, the newspaper was like, oh, yeah, we just want to cover the heck out of anything NBA. So if you write for our sports staff, like, yeah, here's a press pass, go do NBA stuff. And I was, a young go-getter. I'm like, okay, I'll go to. I'm 22 years old,
right?
And I'm like, all I knew was like Mizzou versus Kansas State. Now here I am, like the Lakers are in town,
right?
And I'll never forget, Jordan was on the Wizards, and I got to 22-year-old me like talk to Michael Jordan, and we were talking, and I think it was we weren't in the Facebook pre-show, we were in the pre-show's pre-show that was on MySpace earlier tonight.
Right.
And we were discussing, and I was showing off my amazing ability to sweat in any weather. I'm the best sweater in the United States of America.
Right.
Put me in an igloo.
I do have some trophies in the back. I can go ahead and give you one for.
Oh my gosh!
Right there you go.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't put it in my hands. I'll slip right out. Wait, I literally don't remember what I was going to talk about now. What was I even saying?
You was in New Orleans.
Michael Jordan, yes.
Michael Jordan.
Imagine Thank you. So imagine how much I was sweating looking up at Michael Jordan in person and then talking to him. It was
gotta be crazy.
I mean, especially like some of my
our era too.
Right.
They wanted his last championship our senior year.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
And like some of my buddies were like fifth-year seniors. Like some of my buddies were like still back in college. Like, what'd you do there? They're, I went to Harpo's for a drink. What'd you do? Like, I talked to Michael
Shout
Jordan.
out to Harpo's, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God. When you go to Columbia, you gotta go to Harpo's.
And Angela and I, we have a lot of nice things in our home, but we still use the yellow Harpo's cups most every day.
Yeah, there you go.
Interesting. So once again, this is the Platform Sports Talk Show. Wonderful show that we are already having.
We just getting started.
We ain't even get
we in the round table. Like, y'all already know it's finna go down. This is crazy.
Man, it's gonna be an amazing show.
Yes.
So going back, so I know you said Jordan. Is there anyone right now that you are in awe of at the moment?
You're talking about in St. Louis or like just in life?
Just in life right now.
Oh gosh, sure. I mean, Jokic, if I pronounce that correct. The fact that this guy from the Denver Nuggets does not look like an athlete. He's tall. He's 7 feet tall, but he does not look like an athlete. He looks like the guy picked 10th at the gym.
He look like the dude in the office that's good at softball.
Yeah, he's like Kevin from The Office.
Right, there you go. He do look like Kevin. He do look like
Kevin. That's just taller.
Yeah, with the buzz cut.
And
that's
he
Kevin.
is an amazing passer and an amazing shooter. I'm in awe of his abilities. Trae Young is another one. Watching him dribble and shoot the three. And then
game.
I followed soccer a lot this year because of the Women's World Cup.
Right.
Rose Lavelle, who scored that key goal for USA, she became a favorite athlete of mine. Goodness gracious. Mike Trout always, just because he's kind of like the Dominique Wilkins type baseball player, like the human highlight reel, just doing everything.
With that being said, what was his thoughts of St. Louis when he was in town for that series?
He seemed to be very, very impressed, which was cool. And then how could he saw the best of the best when it comes to the fans.
Right.
Pujols was back.
Amazing
weekend. They were applauding. He sneezed once in the third inning, and everyone started applauding. It's like everything.
Like for the sneeze.
Yeah.
Right. Flawless sneeze.
Yeah.
Didn't even need
Again.
Pujols like sneeze.
Yeah. Didn't even clean it. Like nothing came out.
Right. Yeah, that was such an incredible weekend. And typical Pujols fashion, that he hits a home run, second game of the series against Dakota Hudson.
Yeah.
I've been hustling for a second. Wait a minute, I thought y'all was, y'all had my back.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's my Pujols that weekend.
Exactly. You gotta be.
For him, and I know we'll get to the Cardinal stuff in a minute, especially when we get to Joe Knows, but I know that weekend, that had to bring a lot of feelings of what Pujols did that series, stepping up to the plate. Everyone, I think Game 3 was on ESPN prime time, but him being able to step up to the plate, the pressure of knowing you got a lot of people rooting for you, and you still do what you did. That's what they are missing from this Cardinal team right now.
Sure.
Is that one go-to guy that everyone else could be having an off day.
Right.
But when you know you need that one hit
Big
or
moment
that
guy.
one moment, that guy
And we
can
had
do it.
like 5 or 6 of them at one point, man.
Exactly.
That's
you know,
crazy.
from rolling the MV3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
I'm
What a
saying?
cool nickname that
Right,
was.
right.
But once again, we'll get to that later on in regards to baseball.
Yep.
So let's get right into high school. I know that you have a lot of people that you know that's in the circuit in regards to high
Yeah,
school
I got the up
sports.
and coming guys. I got the freshmen and sophomores coming in on my AAU circuit. So yeah,
There we go.
Shout out to Ramirez, man.
Pee-wee,
Joining
right?
Vashon. Nah, Pee Wee over
okay,
out in Oakland. Yeah,
okay, I got
Ramirez, he over at Vashon. Jalen Bird over at Eastside. They just won the championship, the state championship. He playing football and basketball. And I got a little champ over at St. Mary. Well, little champ over at Chaminade. And I got guys everywhere, man.
And speaking of which, we do have a few guests in the next few weeks that are coaches in the high school area that will be on the show
cool.
next
gonna be
week as
crazy,
well.
yeah.
So I'll announce that later on throughout the show.
Yep.
Nice.
But what are your thoughts right now in regards to the football landscape in high school football around the local area? I know Eastern Louis just won championship.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And then we just had the Smets, Robert Steeples. He was named the coach of the year in regards to America. So that's a huge deal
That's
as well.
huge.
So what are your thoughts in regards to high school football?
Well, I mean, there's so many ways to go. With it. I love the rivalries and the fact that now, I mean, CBC was so strong for so long, and they still are really good. Don't get me wrong, but I just rhymed 3 different words.
You did, man. You got bars right now. Go ahead.
Bars. Remember Snow? Who did
Right, now he a
Informer?
rapper. See, you don't know what Ben is right now. We still figuring it out.
I did write the song White Lightning 19 years ago, the rap song White Lightning. One time during class, I was bored and I wrote a rap song.
If you want to go ahead, you got a mic.
Hey, please feel free.
Let's see how much Sutter Home I have.
Hey, man, we'll give you the whole bottle. Go ahead and pass it on down. You can have a bottle, man. Go ahead. Ain't no rules to this show, man.
But it's really impressive to see what DeSmet did this year. I'm fascinated by the kid, the quarterback from Chaminade, Brady Cook.
Yep.
He's going to Mizzou, right?
He's going to Mizzou. He's apparently a really, really good quarterback, athletic. I mean, there's so many, but really, I think the biggest story this past year, sadly, was the Cardinal Ritter turn of events.
That was crazy, man.
For those that, I'll make it quick, but for those watching that didn't know, I mean, they had a stacked team, but one of their star player, Bill Jackson, was suspended for the first game because in the previous season's state title game, he got in a fight. So you can't play first game. It happens. But the coach made a decision. He's decided to play him anyway under a fake name. And the game was in Illinois, so it was like maybe like in the Chicago area.
Maybe we can go ahead and stick him in.
Yeah.
Not in the Midwest, dude.
And,
Yeah.
Well, no, but I mean, you could.
They're the best team in the country, man. Like, why do I risk it?
And it's like, did he not think that someone would be like, "Hey, coach, quick question. Tell me more about the guy that ran for 150 yards in the first game that we've never heard from him again.
Right.
Whatever happened to him?
I know they got helmets, but come on.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was terrible. I felt bad for many people. You know, they had to end the season prematurely. But a lot of lessons were learned, hopefully.
Exactly.
But that was a scandal. I mean, that was a big story.
And it's crazy you brought that up because I will have the new head coach of Cardinal Ritter be on our show next month.
Look at that. Okay.
So
awesome.
And I actually know him from childhood.
Okay.
So
He's connected, man.
Yeah. I bet that'll be a fascinating show to hear because I mean we talk about
Gotta
coaching.
hear his side of the story.
Yeah, and like we hear X's and O's in sports, but like a lot of coaching is just leadership and being a father figure and teaching kids. I mean, these kids went through a weird year, and now he's responsible
That's the hardest
for.
part about it, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that. That was part of my final segment a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
About coaches, how they gotta keep the kids engaged and be more. It's more than sports. It's life.
Right.
You know what I mean? And people don't understand that. Like this is stuff that you got to deal with for the rest of your life. How you got to deal with adversity, how you got to pick yourself back up and move forward and things like this is sports is actually life, man.
Yeah.
And I always encourage people to put their kids in sports just to get them prepared for it, for anything they get hit with in life.
Right.
That's what sports prepares you for. So I'm glad you said that.
Yeah,
man.
definitely.
Yeah.
And we had the same discussion when we had one of the ladies that was on our show. She is a assistant coach for Vashon basketball team
Okay.
and football team.
Oh, wow.
And so she, when we asked her a few questions about the whole incident with Cardinal Ritter, along with also her sister. And one thing that I brought up was I felt the parent had to know about this too. Yeah. So, the coach messed up, but I feel like you as the parent should have been like, no, he's not going to play.
Right, he broke the rule.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's just how I am. If I know that it's something like that can happen, no, let's sit him out. It's just one game.
Right.
It was just one game, but you just had to do it. And it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, I think from their standpoint, I'm not trying to make excuses for the guys that pulled this off or tried to pull it off. But I mean, they were playing a really big time high school opponent. They're like, man, if our guy can play well and we can win this game, this is big for our program. This is big for our team in regards to college recruiting. A lot of good in their heads could come from this, but it completely backfired, and here we are talking about it.
And then the fact that they were nationally ranked as one of the best teams in the country too.
Right? Yeah.
And
I ain't gonna lie, man. This just make me want to do a confession right now because I'm not gonna say what school I went to.
Yeah.
But in college, I played under a fake name for a semester.
Oh wow!
Really?
Yes. So my name is not in the books at all.
Interesting. Yeah.
All my best games, I got video footage, but I can't tie it to the school.
Sure. And they don't. Whenever anything happens in sports, you always wonder, like, all right, well, we found out about this, but what haven't we found out about?
Exactly.
Heck, we're seeing it in Major League Baseball now. Yep. Oh, this team cheated. But did other teams cheat, or was it just that one team?
No, it's common, man. And my thing was nobody knew who I was. I left the school I was at. I was at Merrimack. I wasn't getting playing time. Mm-hmm. And I went to a city outside of St. Louis and visited my grandmother. She was like, hey, it's a church down the street. You can go play down there.
Okay.
So I went and played, and a couple guys saw me playing or whatever. It's like, hey, man, Penny Hardaway got I just kind of told them the city. Yeah. Got a classic coming up. If you don't mind, you want to play for them. It wasn't University of Memphis. It wasn't University of Memphis. And they was like, hey, man, if you want to play, they got a tournament going on down the street. I'm like, cool, I'll play. Yeah, Penny Hardaway. Of course I'm going to play.
Yeah, right.
And I played pretty good. And the coach literally ran on the court, asked me to play for them, whatever. And I worked out with the team.
Sure.
Did pretty good. I wasn't eligible because at this time, this was college basketball. You had to sit out for a year if you transferred. And so I played the next semester under somebody else's name and had a couple great games, couple mediocre games and everything like that. But my name is not in the books at all.
We had the opposite occur at our high school, Clayton High School. We had a guy come from Spain, and this guy was supposed to be the soccer star. So we were really excited, exchange student. And the early practices, he was like juggling the ball. And we're like, oh my God, and he's from another country. He's gonna be better than all of us. He sucked.
All right.
Yeah, take it right. Yeah.
Shouts out to Mo Davis. She says boo in regards to y'all class year.
Okay.
And then she also says
boo class of 97. Y'all ain't got nobody but nobody. I don't think nobody came on 97 except Baron Davis.
And then she says it's very common in regards to cheating. They just got caught. It's been happening for years.
Oh yeah. Speaking of cheating, I can't wait to Joe knows.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
so we're going to talk about that when she get on.
It's definitely coming.
It's a lot of cheating going on right now.
She has a team that she loves outside the Cardinals that she loves in baseball.
In our league.
That's involved in some cheating.
They in the National League. Okay. And they cheating they butt off.
Well, no. They in the American League.
That's right.
Used to be in there.
They used to be.
I'm
still stuck. We
graduated
in 98. You got to understand where my mind is at.
And she said, shut up, B.
You don't have to read everything.
and once again, for everyone watching, please feel free to comment. We will go over your post, and you got any questions for us, for Ben Hockman, of course. Don't be shy. Read no questions, and we got y'all covered.
Ask him a lot of stuff, man. This dude is interesting, man.
Get him.
I want to see what he do on the spot with the highlight on. Put the highlight on him. Let's get him, man.
Hey, you know
Doing
what?
too good.
He inspired me to go ahead and like find a beat to play for him so he can just go ahead and freestyle something.
Yeah, he got to, man. Before we get off the show, he gonna have to do something, man. White Lightning Rider on the low. I didn't even know that.
Something.
Yes.
Golly, man.
Let's go.
This dude, he's just a pocket knife, man. You know what he gonna pull out?
What were your thoughts in regards to what happened at Roosevelt and then firing the coach because he was too he cared about his team so much, and he was on social media trying to make sure that they didn't do too much this, too much that, but Roosevelt was like, no, and he can though.
Yeah, so right away, I don't know too much about it, so I don't want to speak in specifics.
That's the gist of it, though.
But if that's the gist of it, I mean, I've seen that happen to other people who care so much, but rules are rules, I suppose, with an organization. If you're a coach, if you're an administrator, there's certain things you're not supposed to do. And even if in your head it sounds creative, or not even creative, it sounds like, oh, this will help. This will help by me monitoring in this regard. If it's not what you're supposed to be doing, it can backfire, unfortunately, in this scenario. And it's just I think it's I don't know that I don't even know the man's name. I don't know much about the situation, but it just stinks that it didn't work out because there's so many good people out there.
Exactly.
Or so there's so many bad people out there that like, it's like here's someone that cares so much.
At least give us an actual reason to let him go.
Right. I mean, you
got someone who had his kids back. I think they said that he came in and he had a rule about having students wear on game day suits.
Right, yeah.
They started making that be a normal thing at the high school
itself.
itself.
Right.
And for you to go ahead and cut him because of what he was doing, trying to get these guys on the right path on social media, in which, if you see over the last few years, how much depression happens from social media.
Exactly.
Oh, my God.
And it's 2020, man. How else you going to get to these kids?
Right.
Well, that's a very good point.
I mean, that's just the whole of it right there, man.
Right.
So, I understand rules are rules, but it take people like that to change rules. You know what I mean? Like, some people go and take those type of risks, and that's why we have the new age this and this person was if it had worked out, he'd have been a genius.
Right.
You know, so
then I know that Trinity Catholic, they fired their head coach, and his reasons, or the reason from what I saw on the paper in the paper, was that he wasn't allowed to bring in recruits. When he wanted to. I guess he was trying to still do it or whatever.
Right.
And the school didn't like what he was doing. They weren't trying to bring these certain recruits to his school during a certain time frame. And he pretty much got canned for that. But it's like, are you trying to, have your school be bigger than what it is? And then they just won a championship last year.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. The rules sometimes get in the way of the program.
Yeah.
It should be I understand rules for protection. And rules for an advantage, like a clear advantage over certain people. But some stuff is just, y'all just putting microscopes on people, man, at this point. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Are you going to the Highland Shootout for basketball this weekend?
I'm gonna try to, but I'm gonna actually be in Atlanta.
Man.
Yeah, I'm going
to that. It's my first time.
My birthday, yeah. Okay.
I've never been to the Highland Shootout basketball tournament all day.
Yes.
8 to 8, I think. Games every day, or all day, every hour, or whatever the math is. I can't wait. You mentioned Trinity. I believe if I recall this right, they have a 7-footer.
Yes.
And they're playing Melville, which has a 7-footer.
Should be a
Both
great
kids
game.
are in the top 100.
One of our old classmates has a son playing for them.
Yes.
For which team?
For Trinity.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a freshman.
Shout out to Teresa Dane.
Yeah, he's a freshman. Jordan Lumpkins.
Yes.
He's a freshman. He was playing for JV, but now he's moved up to JV.
Moved
to
on up to
varsity.
varsity.
All right,
So
Jordan
he's
Lumpkins.
playing JV and varsity.
As a freshman.
And, yeah.
That's pretty cool. Well, I'll probably see him in action.
We'll see him, yeah.
On Saturday. Yeah, and all the top teams locally are playing in this,
Exactly.
and they're bringing in Tolton from Columbia that has the Michael Porter Jr.'s little brothers are on the team.
Okay.
So they're gonna be playing. That'd be neat to see them.
Heck
And
yeah.
I'm excited personally.
And my alma mater, the V.
Oh, God.
You already know what it is.
I hate Vishon.
Three
Where'd you go?
I
last
went to
year.
Central Vision Performing Arts.
Okay.
Before they got rid of sports. They don't even have sports no more.
Okay.
So I was a part of the greatest basketball team that ever walked the hallways there. And we beat them.
I was a freshman
in the middle of them, their invincibility.
I was the freshman
Yes,
that
when
year.
they hadn't lost in like forever.
Right,
Wow.
we went to Val. I'm thinking, oh man, we got this.
We were always the easy win. We were always the kick
But
around.
that
Interesting.
night, it was like Buster Douglas fought Mike Tyson.
No, it wasn't. I'm gonna tell you the backstory of this because this is what they want to believe. The backstory of this is pretty much 3 players on their starting 5 on our AAU team. They backed us up.
Okay.
We're not losing to our backups. I don't care what school y'all play.
Right.
Their school had a flood
Okay.
with the swimming pool. They had a swimming pool, we got a flood.
Yeah.
They kicked us out of our gym to practice. Our gym. They came to our school, kicked us out of our gym to practice.
okay,
And we sat there and watched them, and I was like, Coach, they done.
You're right.
No way.
Right.
It ain't no way. We losing to our backups after they kicked us out of practice.
Yeah.
Shout out to, I hope some of y'all watching. Please. Some of y'all,
Say
I
something.
dare y'all
Say
to
something to
comment.
us right now.
I dare y'all. So that's a real story.
Was this the 97, 98 season?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to look this up because I got
Look it
the
up.
archives. I'm curious to
Yeah, look
see
it
what
up.
was written.
And we beat them, I believe it was the final score. I can't remember exactly, but by like 5 points.
I mean,
something like-
it-
but
just
here's the
total
crazy
shock.
part.
Total
Here's
shock.
the worst part of it.
Okay.
The year before, we lost to them by 92 points.
Come on.
Yeah.
And how were many of you were on the team for
None of
instance?
us played.
Oh, okay.
I left the team. Me and the coach got into it.
Oh, man.
I left to play midnight basketball with the adults.
Okay.
Because me and our team was bad.
Sure.
Our center was ineligible.
Yeah.
A couple other guys left. So they played my little brother and them. Oh
my God.
Knowing they playing BT, they throwing out the backboard.
Yeah.
Shooting threes from half court.
Right.
So it's all this stuff going on in my head
That
before
game,
the game.
hey, that game JV before we varsity played that JV game. Man, I was getting it in that game.
This does sound like that 30 for 30 with Buster Douglas where they're talking about all the
almost like
things,
it. I mean, I swear.
all the things that lined up
Man.
for that one
And
magical
we were
night.
down
Yeah.
by 4 at halftime, and I swear, man, I couldn't even sit down. I was so mad. I was like, first of all, we not losing.
Right.
There's no way they walking out of here losing.
Yeah.
And probably the best dunk of my school career was against them. It was like the game breaker. It was done at that.
Really?
We had a
Okay.
guy that was known for missing layups. Shout out to Travis Henderson. Always missed layups. I don't know what it was about him.
That was-
He like, oh, now you want to shout me out.
what was his first name?
Travis Henderson.
So you call it the Travis assist.
The Travis assist is always off the backboard. It always hit the backboard, comes softly up the rim, just sit right there. So when he got the breakaway, I was like, it's going to come off. I know it. So Robert Love was trailing him, and he shoots the layup and hits the backboard. It sits right up, and I caught it. And I didn't do it regular. I cocked it all the way back as far as I could.
Sure.
And I looked at Floyd Irons, and he was just like,
Wow. Yeah, he called a timeout. Yeah.
and they didn't shake our hands after the game or none of that.
Really?
They just walked off the court.
What an epic
And
story.
He went on the radio and made all these excuses or whatever. Like,
Oh, no.
we were calling in like, we meet y'all at the Y. We
Right.
meet y'all at Fairground Park. Like, we didn't have a rematch. Y'all can't beat us this year.
Wow.
Like, they had Vashawn was known for having all these big dudes. Like, they
Sure.
always
Oh, yeah.
had
Oh, yeah.
the biggest team in the PHL. That particular year, they center was like 6'4", 6'5".
Okay.
Our center was 6'5".
Again, the stars aligned.
Buster
Douglas.
It was our time. Yeah, it was our time.
Yeah.
And
So
speaking of the V, my cousin Rick Simpson, he's in Chicago right now, lives in Chicago. He went to the V.
Okay.
Rick, tell me your class. I know it's like 88, 89, something like that.
so Rick's long gone.
Yeah.
You lucky you ain't catch that smoke, Rick.
But I mean, my family is just pretty much like cousins, uncles, etc. They went to the V.
I wanted to go to the V.
One of my cousins, he
Ain't
was the
gonna lie.
assistant coach of with Floyd Irons at the time. So yeah, I got V all in my
My
bloodline,
dad said I can
man.
go anywhere but there. He went to Sumner.
He said you wasn't having it, huh?
You can go anywhere in the PHL except Sumner. That's all he told me.
Interesting.
And I went to VAP. A lot of reasons that I don't want to talk about.
Sure.
But it wasn't nothing.
No,
but
let's
cool.
put the spotlight on you now.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I was okay. All right, here we go.
No.
A real story about how the Central Visitor
No, that's a good school. It's a good school.
Yeah, it was. But I
It
was going to
is.
go to Gateway Tech.
Okay.
You know, and then we had visitation in 8th grade. I went to a magnet school.
Okay.
So we had to visit every magnet school in the PHL. So I had my heart set on going to Gateway Tech. A couple other guys wanted to go to ROTC with leotard, the dance league.
Okay.
I thought every girl in the school wore leotards.
Come on. This is why you made the decision to go to the
This
school.
is exactly why I made the decision. All the girls that I saw that day were in dance uniform.
He like, wait a minute.
So this is they were.
Right.
No, it's St. Louis.
I hurried up and signed my name to go to, and 6 other guys signed up with me, and that's how it happened.
Well, they were still, I guess, your
That's why we had a good-
classmates.
That's why we had a good basketball team, because all these guys supposed to go to all these different schools.
Right.
I was like, man, we could turn it around. I had to preach to them, man, we could turn it around, man. We was going to have 2 bad years, and by the time we juniors,
They're like, B, we lost by 92 to Vashon last year.
before all that.
Oh, yeah.
This we was in 8th grade.
Oh, I got you.
So,
yeah.
of course, we thinking in the 13, 14-year-old mindset.
Sure.
So I was like, man, we could turn this team around, man.
Yeah.
Look past all they 1-15 this year. We could be the dudes that walk the hallways and say, hey, we turned it, and we actually did it our senior year.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but that was the actual reason that I ended up going to Central Vision.
I thought you were going to say that they let you wear a leotard, and you were like, yeah,
absolutely not. I
You know what?
never.
Let's go on Google and see if we can find
You won't. You won't. I did jazz band. I learned how to play a lot of instruments. And then shout out to my Mr. Simpson radio broadcaster, Elliot Simpson, which helps me out with what I'm doing right now.
Fantastic.
There it is.
Yep.
And my cousin Rick responded back, class of 88 and 89. When he went to the V, 88 and 89.
Okay.
He says, I may be in town to see the V play Chicago,
Ooh,
Whitney
Whitney
Young
Young.
on the 25th of January.
Okay.
Whitney Young used to be a
Big game.
Yeah,
Yeah, they've been-
on them, and
yeah.
oh my God,
I know also the V is playing at Chicago Simeon, where
Benji.
yeah, and I think Derrick Rose,
Derrick Rose
went
went
there.
And Jabari Parker.
Yes.
Yep, he sure did. Yep.
So, in regards to basketball, because that was my next thing I want to discuss, but you already brought it in. Great segue earlier. Outside the V, I know the V be going to different states, playing this and that, playing that.
Right.
I know Trinity Catholic has been playing a lot of other games as well, going to different states. Thoughts on the overall landscape in regards to high school basketball?
Good year, right? There's some great talent
Yes, it
this
is.
year. I mean, you look at some of the,
CBC,
Yeah.
tell everybody about the Caleb Love story.
oh my God, what a cool story! So Caleb Love, one of the better players in the area, is currently a point guard senior at CBC. His dad loves North Carolina, and when North Carolina played in the championship game in 2005 in St. Louis against Illinois, guess who went to the game? Caleb Love's dad with Caleb, his 4-year-old, 3-year-old son, whatever his age was at the time. So here's the thing, though. Caleb grows up as a Duke fan. Even though dad loves North Carolina, for whatever reason, he goes the other way. He loves Duke, growing up here in St. Louis, wants to be on Duke, watches St. Louis's Jason Tatum go to Duke, the whole thing.
Right.
What happens? Coach K is sort of interested, kind of, but ends up signing a different point guard from the class of 2020. So Caleb is like, you know what? I'm going to North Carolina, and I'm going to kick their butts for 4 years or 1 year, however long he's there. So I thought, and of course that's his dad's school, North Carolina. So what a cool symmetry. Now he's going to North Carolina, where his dad loves the team. Now his dad gets to go to North Carolina and watch games. His son's on the team, and his son's going to try to kick Duke's butt.
And that's crazy. You mentioned that he liked Jason Tatum because his dad is coaching CBC.
Right,
You
of
know,
course.
that's crazy. All these ties all over the place.
Yeah, I was over there. It was really weird, especially talking about our age, being 39, almost 40 for me. That era with Larry Hughes and Jason Tatum.
I ran into them a couple times.
So now
I
I'm-
saw Justin at a SLU game not too long
we
ago.
did.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
spoke
last
to him
month, I
briefly.
believe.
Yeah.
So now I'm over there, and so those were like the idols, kind of when you're in high school, looking up to those guys. Now I'm over there. Justin's the coach. Jason's in the NBA.
Exactly.
Larry Hughes is hanging around, and Larry Hughes' son is on the team.
Yep. I
Like,
coached
we are
against him.
old.
Yeah.
What is happening?
My AU team up.
Now, is it me, or does it seem like this new generation of guys are just different and special?
Well, you're talking about developed and
Yes.
Well, there's
I mean, they've
totally.
been in AU since they was like 9 years old. That's
it's
right.
incredible, right?
Like they have so much of a knowledge in regards to pass. I mean, not just shooting the ball, but passing. Just the skills is different. I know, like you said, AAU is a whole different thing now than how it used to
Positionless
be.
basketball.
That's what I was
Right.
gonna say
I mean,
next.
right.
And
I mean,
the
I-
fact that they get to travel so early,
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
social media's got a lot to do with it.
No question.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So you got to think about when I was coming up, you only got the drills your coach gave you.
Right.
That's all you had.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can just get on your phone and look up any drill you want to look at,
Right.
and look at. I mean, like Rico Hines has a circuit where he has pros come in and play each other to eight every game.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And you can watch these guys and learn from that, and you can watch the camps that they go to, and then you got guys that the pros have camps themselves.
Yeah.
When I was younger, you either went to Nike camp or the Jordan camp, which was like almost impossible to get into.
Right.
That was it.
Right.
You know, it wasn't nothing else, man. I went to UMSL's basketball camp, which was pretty good. Shout out to UMSL and Coach Jones and all them. But it wasn't like Nike camp and all like that. Now you got camps everywhere. You know, Under Armour, Adidas, blah, 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 you know, Team Elite, all that stuff.
Yeah,
so,
and the tournaments are enormous. The Peach Jam, obviously, is the biggest of them all.
Big, man.
I mean, and then with the positionless basketball thing, and it's funny, Angela, my wife, and I were watching NBA Countdown, whatever the pregame show is, with Paul Pierce and Sky Pippen the other night, and they were doing a whole thing on centers and how centers are essentially extinct.
Right.
Yep.
And Roy Hibbert was being interviewed on there, and basically they figured out two things. One is with all the development of players, you can be 7 foot and dribble, you can be 7 foot and pass, and then two, they figured out from a math standpoint that the idea of like dumping it in the low post and letting Patrick Ewing go one-on-one wasn't the most effective thing in regards to scoring.
Man, yeah.
He might get his, but it's a one-and-done situation.
Exactly.
So now you've got what do you have? You've got 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds who are the tallest in their class, but coach isn't just putting them down at the 5 and say, wait for the pass. They're learning the dribble, and now once they're 16, 17, 18, you got these dynamic players, and then you throw in the international aspect of it too.
That's what really changed everything around, man. Because, I mean, you got to think about it. Like you said, going back to what you said about the big man, look how much time they eat up.
Right.
You got to run a play to get it to the post.
Yeah.
And then if he gets stopped, now you got to kick it out, and then now you got to do all this other stuff all over again.
Yeah.
So,
and who's there to rebound? I mean,
exactly, man.
And
then
he's the
last person down the court on defense.
Right.
Like, look at Jokic. Like, we joke about him, but like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, if he missed the shot, he the last man back.
Right.
You know, so yeah.
So and then the idea of just making the perimeter, like it used to be like, ooh, the 3-point line, like a couple guys, like, and if we're talking about girls, a couple girls can be confident out there, but like, come on, if you're such and such or taller, you shouldn't be hanging around the 3-point line thinking about shooting a 3-pointer. Now everyone's got a 3-pointer in their arsenal, which is fascinating.
I think women's basketball is the first place that had that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you watch a women's basketball game, all of them can shoot.
Yeah.
Right.
All of them.
Right. The tallest of the
and they
players.
bring the
And to add on to that, sorry,
Go ahead.
But to add on to that, I think the women's game needs to be more appreciated because
I love it. Yeah.
It's not like they can all dunk. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing. It's all skill.
But it's the skill.
Skill.
So to all the ladies out there who's watching this show,
shout out to y'all, man.
Hey, WNBA, college basketball, high school, wherever y'all playing overseas, ladies, shouts out to y'all for holding it down because
I like it.
The game is different because, like I said, everybody can't dunk.
But they got
you
some
still
shooters,
find
boy.
ways to score.
Yeah, the ladies the only ones holding down the mid-range right now.
Right.
Yep.
And I love the mid-range game.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we can't get it right because ESPN, that's the only bad thing I want to say about social media. Everybody trying to get the dunks and the threes and everything like that.
Right.
Which is good.
Right.
I get that. But look at Carmelo Anthony last night. Won a game with a pull-up jumper.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who else in the league gonna do that?
Right.
You ain't never seen, well, I ain't gonna say never, but when last time you seen a pull-up jumper game winner?
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
That's why the guy was all out of the place. Like, oh, man, he pulled up.
You're really going to shoot from
I
there?
don't even know how to defend that. I've never seen that. You know what I'm saying?
I think my dad told me something about mid-range jumpers.
Right. Google it.
Right.
What was that movie? A pull-up jumper.
Right.
Yeah, so.
And that's another thing, real quick. These moves to get open, the James Harden, the step backs, Michael Porter Jr. did the other day.
Woo!
Were
Clean.
Incredible.
And I guess it's not a travel. I mean, you can.
When you're 16, it's different.
Yeah, but man, basically you're bunny hopping back,
Right.
And then you have created space and you can shoot it. I mean, this is an
That
unguardable
man
thing.
literally jumped from the wing to the corner
Yeah.
in one step.
Yeah, legally and made
legally.
a 3.
Yeah.
And obviously Harden's taken the game to a new dimension by doing that with his, and so it's a whole other aspect
He
of
got the
basketball.
correct coach for him.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Right. My cousin Rick says they play Chicago Curie in February, and then he already saw CBC play Whitney Young earlier this year.
Did St. Louis play any, I don't know, St. Louis teams, or they're just all playing Chicago?
Right.
I'm like, wait a minute, we all playing a lot of Chicago
Since
teams.
you my age, did you ever go to the Coca-Cola shootout?
Oh yeah.
Oh, the Camo X shootout?
Yeah.
Actually, I never went, but
I did.
it was, especially in the 90s, because Kevin Garnett came through.
I was about to say, that was that class of 95.
and Darius Miles.
Okay.
Yeah, but in 95, they had Marbury, Vince Carter, Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett's team played that sign.
Yes.
Look, a little funny story real quick. Remember Corey Brewer from Florida,
Florida,
played in the
yeah.
NBA? I was a reporter covering him, and we were talking. The best part of of covering the NBA was going to Lakers games. The second best part.
Man. There you go. Tell them again.
You go. I mean, there's nothing like. It's Hollywood.
Yeah.
You're spotting celebrities left and right.
I went to a Lakers game last
There's
year.
always a superstar there. I mean, it's one of a kind. But the coolest thing from an access standpoint is the road morning shoot-arounds.
Yep.
Because, especially in a crappy city. And here's why. As a reporter, you're always trying to like grow a relationship, build dialogue with the players.
Right.
All they're trying to do is not talk to me. They're like, I don't want to give any information to this guy.
Right.
But if we're in Salt Lake City and it's the morning shoot around and they don't know anybody in town, they have no family or friends, and they have nowhere to be, and we're all there at the gym. Okay, well, I'll talk to this guy for a while. And so that was always like my favorite part, because then you can really just pick their brains and learn stuff from the players, because we're all just hanging out there. And I remember Corey Brewer and I were talking about where we were from, and I told him I was from St. Louis. And he's like, oh my God, I tore it up in the K-Mock shootout. I'm like, the what?
K-Mock.
He's like, the K-Mock shootout.
Right.
I'm like, oh, KMOX.
KMO, yeah.
He didn't know it was a radio station. He thought it was like K-Marks. He thought it was like K-Mox.
Right. He just remember the KM.
So for years he's been saying like, oh, St. Louis, the K-Mock shootout. I used
Corey, put some respect on our. Come on, now. Come on, Corey, bro. You got to be better than that.
Yeah.
Oh man! So once again, this is the Platform Sports Talk Show. This has been a great show so far. We hadn't even gotten to the other topics. We got
we're still on the round table.
We got so much to discuss with Ben Hockman from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
Yes, sir.
A church member of mine, also who I consider a friend, Gary Harrelson.
Okay.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
So
Co-worker of mine.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He definitely helped me out with getting at you. But I know that we actually met at SLU, and there was an event. What was his name?
Draco, yeah.
Draco. I know he has one of the best jobs ever. He's the guy that hyped the crowd up at SLU.
Yeah, I saw that when we was at the game.
At the home game. So he had a concert.
Okay.
And
he's a rapper.
I was DJing for the guy that was opening up for him, which is Strings, MB. Okay. And we had a great time. Then I saw Ben Hockman. I'm like, hey, I got a sports talk show. Can you get on? So thank you.
Oh, that day? Okay. All right.
It just worked out.
Yeah.
Because, I saw him. I'm like, man, I got how should I do it? No, I don't know. He may be like, stuck up.
Yeah.
But no, I can't.
Right. Here he is now.
But now he's here, So
I'm glad you did that. Yeah,
another day, shoot your shot.
There you go. So,
that was a cool night. Yeah, Draco is a friend of my wife and me. I think grammar. I'm bad. Is it my wife and I?
Hey, we ain't judging you right now.
Thank you. Yeah. He is friends with my wife, and he is my friend too. There
it is.
But he was a basketball standout for SLU High in the 2000s. Andre Craig,
man.
Coach
Claggett. Right there,
yeah. And I went to, if we're talking about Irvin Claggett, it's funny how this thread goes.
Yeah.
Scott Highmark was on that team,
Scott,
and he had I remember he had the Parkway West basketball camp, 1994.
Okay.
And I got there, and there was hundreds of kids, and it was me and my classmate David Bringle. Of the 200 kids, or as I tell the story, there were 7,000 kids.
There you go, make it big, make it big. Right, this is your story, man.
7,000.
Right.
So however many kids were in the camp, David and I, like carpool buddies, were the final two in the free throw competition. Scott Highmark and we were in front of the whole camp, and I choked, and David won.
Was everybody on the floor?
Yeah, everyone's sitting on the floor watching. Yeah.
That's the worst thing in basketball camp. So if you've never been to a basketball camp, let me paint the real picture for y'all.
Everybody sitting
Imagine
down.
like 1,000 kids
in the inside.
It's no noise, and they just watching y'all shoot free throws for like all the marbles, man. You a kid at this point.
David and Ice Water is in.
Oh my God.
One of the camps that I've been to was Anthony Bonner's camp.
I remember.
He had it at Forest Park.
Shout out to AB, man.
Yeah.
That's my
Speaking
guy.
of which, my cousin Rick asking what's in them cups though.
You need to get us
doing like wine, bro. We ain't doing nothing big.
White Zinfandel.
We got a celebrity on deck, man. We just trying to take the edge off.
You guys should get a sponsor, and then you can drink their drink.
If you ain't noticed, I usually turn the label kind of like how it is now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If I got my water, I put my hand on it.
You ain't getting all the love.
Right. Like, man, y'all got to pay us if y'all want us to support.
Hold us down, we got y'all covered. You
Right,
know?
yeah.
Right.
Right. Y'all want to know what we drinking? Hey, look, give us a little check.
There's a lot of what do you call it? Breweries here in town, right?
There it is.
Oh, man.
Link up with
I
one of
went
the
to
breweries.
The lights for Christmas.
Sure.
Lady went down there.
Anheuser-Busch, right?
Gave us free drinks. You know, took a lot of cool pictures or whatever. So shout out to Anheuser-Busch,
Yeah. So it's amazing that he brought up SLU because the next thing I was going to talk about was SLU basketball.
Okay.
So I know right now they're like, I think they're 11. Matter of fact, they're playing right now, I believe, against.
Let's call Irwin and get the score.
Yeah, here we go.
Right. You keep it close. Flag, what's up, man? They're playing on the golf course.
They're playing George Washington right now.
Okay.
But overall,
Is that Chicago school? No, it's
right. But overall, your thoughts on the SLU basketball team?
Oh yikes! I apologize. I don't know much about the current SLU team.
Okay.
What do you got? What makes them dynamic? What makes them good?
Versatility.
Okay.
You had an article about Jordan Goodwin.
Oh, you're talking about I'm sorry. You're talking about. I thought it was about SLU High.
Oh, no.
College, yeah.
Yeah, no, I know a few things about the
I was gonna
Billikens.
say, wait a minute, hold on, let me get on up to date then.
Yeah,
Right.
I had to cover. Though.
yeah.
I had to cover.
But you see, I put it back on you. Like, well, I don't know this team, but let's keep
We
this
gonna
going.
throw you the
Let's keep
assist
this
to
going.
get it going, man.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a live show, man. We got you, man.
Yeah. So no, I know nothing about SLU High's basketball team except that Erwin Claggett. Oh, that's why I said George Washington. The university. Okay, now I'm back.
University Bills, yeah, the
I'm back.
Bills.
Back
Yeah,
on
yeah.
planet
Yeah,
Earth.
yeah.
Okay.
And people he ain't have any drink yet.
Right. This is him. This is actually him.
Crazy. No,
He won't even take a drink.
I
Bro.
think
guess
I-
we ain't ready for it. I guess.
I threw the curveball at myself because when you said George Washington, I promptly made the bad that Chicago high school joke.
I heard you say.
And then-
I'm trying to disregard.
and then
that.
we're talking
They
about-
from the DMV.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah.
And then we're talking
disregard that.
Claggett, who's the coach of the high school team.
Right. I can see why you got confused.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you. So SLU's basketball team is a very intriguing team. They're one of the few teams, if not the only in the country, that has two players flirting with double doubles. And Jordan Goodwin, one of my favorite athletes. Look, you talk about players I'm in awe of earlier in the show. Players I'm in awe of. Jordan Goodwin is 6'3".
Yep.
And he, it might have fluctuated, but just the other day he was 9th in the nation in rebounds per game. He was 6'3".
amazing.
Yeah.
He was averaging 11.4 rebounds per game.
Yeah.
9th in the nation. Of the top 100, nobody else, of the other 99 men, nobody else was 6'3" or,
guards,
or
period, yeah.
shorter. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how, and he's 6'3", top in the rebounding, and then they got Hassan French. And the other thing I really like about Goodwin is his leadership ability.
Yep.
I spent some time over there the other day, talked to Hargrove, which was neat. I'd never met Terrence Hargrove Jr. before. Of course, Coach Ford, and just the stories they're telling about the leadership that Jordan Goodwin provides this team. And I even said, and I think I even wrote it in the column, like, I get wary about the sports story of the team leader. Because it can kind of become cliche. Like every team's got some sort of leader. Like there's some loud guy or girl on every team. You know, I hate to say loud, but there's somebody that's a leader.
Yeah.
But like, I think what Goodwin's doing is above and beyond compared to your average leader. And some of the stories I heard about him, and coach was like 4 or 5 of our games, like he helped us win and had nothing to do with rebounding or scoring.
Right.
It was pretty cool to hear. So I felt humbled to tell his story. And that's the whole point of like I wrote one tomorrow about Becky Sauerbrunn, the soccer player who's from St. Louis and went to Ladue High School and played on the USA team that won the World Cup.
Right.
And I just like I'll break it down. If the Blues aren't playing well, I'll write it. If the Cardinals need a new pitcher, I'll say it, like that type of thing. But I also like kind of like the responsibility of sharing a story of a local athlete that not everybody knows about. So like not everybody that read that article began reading it knowing about Jordan Goodwin. But by the time they finished it, they're, all right, SLU's got a cool leader out there. So that's a cool part of my job. So.
And I like how they are comparing him to Marcus Smart. I mean, he played at Oklahoma State on the Travis
Right,
Ford.
man. Yeah.
But my thing is, because I'm someone
Shout out
that's...
to Mo Baker that played for that team. Local product from Madison. Mo Baker played for Oklahoma State with Marcus Smart. Or I think he was right before him.
Coach Travis Ford.
Yeah, Mo Baker. He went to Madison, Illinois. He went to Dixie College in Utah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He went over to Oklahoma State. Averaged like 25 points a game. And then ended up playing for the Dallas Mavericks for a little.
Okay.
And it's crazy. My cousin Rick says, fun fact, I played against Travis Ford in '88, Bashan versus Madisonville.
Yeah, Madisonville.
Man, okay.
Travis was a McDonald's All-American point guard.
Yeah.
And he brought up something that I'm about to bring up in a minute too. But going back to Jordan Goodwin, they comparing him to Marcus Smart.
What a compliment.
But Marcus Smart, he was actually a prolific scorer.
Yeah, he was.
As well.
Yeah.
With this SLU team, they are missing that Marcus Smart or last year's Tremaine Isabel.
Yeah.
Who is that guy that needs to step up for SLU and be that go-to guy? Because that's lacking on this team right now.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I presume it would be Hassan French, who is scoring a lot of points, but I think he could probably score, I don't know, 4 or 5, 6 per game more. Before they were talking big numbers about him when the season began.
Yep.
So yeah, definitely him. And I mean this thing about the SLU Billikens that's fascinating. They're a really fun team to watch defensively.
Right.
They hustle and they rebound. And the thing is they cannot make free throws or 3-pointers.
That's what Rick put on here.
Yep.
And French is a beast, but the whole team,
they
especially
reminded
French, can't make free throws.
Derrick Rose played for them. And that's why they end up losing. They was going to be the only undefeated college team.
Yeah.
And well, not the only, but most recent. And they lost the championship game because of free throw. They lost to my boys Kansas.
Yeah.
Mario Thomas hit the 3 and won them in overtime.
Right.
But I remember Chris Douglas Roberts was a good shooter. I couldn't understand it. Like, how you like a Rip Hamilton type of mid-range shooter,
but can't
make free throws.
Right.
Derrick Rose
it's all mental.
It's got to be.
It has to
Right?
be all mental.
I said this. I'm going to test out a theory on a live show.
Okay.
Feel free to tell me it's a dumb idea, but or maybe it is, but maybe it isn't.
Yeah, just right.
Put the mayonnaise in the tuna. No, I was kidding. What? I was kidding.
So now everybody's our show for the night.
Right.
That's from an old 80s movie. Here's the thing. Hassan French can't shoot free throws because he gets the ball and he dribbles and he thinks about it and he thinks about it and then he shoots and he misses. What if, but here's the thing, Hassan French makes shots during the flow of the game when he gets a bounce pass and just shoots it really quickly. What if when the referee passes him the ball for the free throw, he just shoots it quickly?
Yeah, I'll say that.
Or I know a lot of his shots are either long or to the right. Make the adjustment and just go more to the left.
Right, you just stand. Yeah.
Make the adjustment.
First of all, do the Steve Nash. Go up there and practice the shot before the ball is in hand.
Right.
Yeah.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people don't understand how important it is. Yeah. That's automatically lining up your feet, visualizing, if you do this and you off to the left, you can see where your wrist is. A lot of guys don't take advantage of that. You got 10 seconds.
Right. It's like if someone says, "Oh yeah, my daughter's got hiccups," you'll have everybody that's listening right now is like, "I know I don't have a daughter. I was just using it as my daughter has hiccups. Oh, I can tell you what to do to get rid of the hiccups."
Exactly.
And 10 people will have 10 different.
10 different
things.
theories, yeah.
And it's the same with us in the free throws right now. Like,
Exactly.
But we all think that our thing is going to solve SLU.
Exactly.
And it's crazy that you brought that we talking about the free throws right now. And real quick, Rick says that was the only loss that Bashan had that year was against Madison.
Wow.
Travis.
Travis Ford for beating the V.
I'm going to ask Travis about that one.
With that being said, I hope this is his last shit. No, I'm just playing. But going back, in regards to Travis Ford and in regards to free throws, when I watch the games for SLU, I feel that at times he doesn't manage the game correctly at certain points. There was a game last season, I think they played at Barclays Center against Seton Hall.
Yeah.
And that was a game in which they could have won that game. And the last minute or so, you kept Hassan French in the game, knowing that he was the only one on the floor that couldn't shoot free throws.
Right.
And what does Seton Hall do? They're playing. As soon as SLU turned the ball, passed the ball in, they hacked Hassan. You should have known that,
Right.
and took him out the game.
Well,
because
maybe
because
I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Wait, because what they did was it was like I want to say like 10 seconds left in the game or 20 seconds left in the game,
Right.
and Slew was only down by like 2 points or something like
Right.
that. Y'all was within the game,
It was within reach.
and Hassan French missed 2 crucial free throws, and Slew cannot recover.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's been a pattern with Travis Ford, in which, by the way, great recruiter.
Yeah.
Because he's bringing in a lot of talented guys.
That we didn't have for a long time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, once again, great recruiter. But in regards to just managing the game at certain points, I feel like that's one area that he needs to improve on, is putting certain guys in certain times. You talk about Terrence Hargrove.
Yeah.
Athletic. Great guy to have. Did you ever find out, like, why he wasn't really playing as much as he is now?
Yeah, that's a good question. I didn't really get what would it be, like a complete answer on that. But a lot of basketball, and we know just from watching it, from playing it,
Right.
is the confidence aspect.
Yep.
And I mean, I hate to say it's just as simple as he got a chance and got confident, and suddenly he felt like senior year Terrence Hargrove again. But I think he'll say that, though, that he feels comfortable and confident out there. And then the other aspect, of course, is I mean, when you're a freshman, not everybody clicks right away.
Right.
I mean, it is such a different game than the high school game, and maybe there was a learning curve for him. I mean, Yuri's out there, Yuri Collins. He's learning. He's got the learning curve too, but he's learning it with the ball in his hands.
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
We were at the game the other night, my dad and I, and some buddies against UMass. And I believe he had 9 assists, 7 turnovers. So
Right.
like every single time he was doing something. Yeah. So, but regardless, it's really neat to see Terrence, and he's a very likable guy. So I hope he continues to be a key rotation player for them.
Yeah. So just going back, who needs to be that go-to scorer? So you're saying French?
Well,
right?
I mean, I don't think. Yeah, I'm saying like it's not like some like what's the old Rick Pitino's like Larry Bird's not walking through that door. Robert Parrish is not
right,
like
right.
like
Erwin Claggett ain't coming back.
yeah, Isabel's not walking through that door.
right,
Yeah,
right.
Anthony Bonner might walk through the door just to go to the game, but he's not walking through
Right,
there.
he not gonna be- he ain't gonna be
So the
tripped
point
out,
is like no one. It really is. I mean, I hate to put even more on French and Goodwin, but if each of them could score more, a few baskets more, and then the other thing that stinks is that guy Gibson Jimerson, a freshman.
That was a crusher.
Yeah, he was averaging 10. I mean, sometimes people don't realize, a freshman's contributing. How much is he really doing? This dude was averaging 10 points per game.
Big in college.
Yeah, and he's 18 years old, hitting threes, driving the hoop. He's out now, so there's 10 points a game you have to replace. Perkins has been playing better
Yes,
though,
he has.
and Jacobs had a breakout game. So I don't know. I mean, again though, it's going to come down to free throws and 3-pointers, and they don't make either of them.
It's
And-
college.
and-
It's by committee.
It's to the point where we need more consistency from your guys that you call your go-to guys.
Yeah, and
You know,
that's
you
with
can't
French.
have
Yeah.
can you have one game you get 20 points, and next game you get 2. We need to get more consistency, because then that'll help the team overall.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Get that, whether it's by recruiting or whatever, but we need to still get that one guy that can just come in and say, you know what, guys, hold on.
I
Fall
think they
back.
just need an identity.
Fall
man.
back.
Yeah.
Because right now, and this is the same thing with Mizzou. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
But the offense is too stagnant.
Yeah.
They
That's what I was
depend
gonna say,
they
yeah.
depend too much on the system.
Yeah.
Except for saying, you know what? Hold on. Let me cross this dude over,
Mm-hmm.
pull up, bam. I got now I'm hot.
Right.
We don't have that guy
Yeah.
right now. You
We
know
don't
what
have
I'm
an
saying?
identity, period.
And like I said, we'll talk about Mizzou in a minute, because I know Mizzou has been snake bitten by injuries to key guys.
Yeah.
Rick
But I mean, Tillman would have been on the bench anyway with fouls.
Speaking of which, let's go to Mizzou. Oh, and last thing about Slew, shouts out to just the Shapeless Arena overall, because it's a great atmosphere.
Well, bringing it
yeah.
full circle
Yes.
from our conversation, Draco, the aforementioned Draco,
Right.
is the in-house,
Right.
right. I guess MC
yeah,
would be,
Right.
and he is he is
Dynamic,
the Kentucky of in-house DJ. He is the
Keep you
dude.
engaged. We went to
Yeah.
the Seton Hall game, blowout. Kept the crowd engaged no matter
He's
what.
really good at that.
he is.
Yeah, and before I even met him, I was like inspired and thought he did a good job. And then I met him, and now he's a friend. So it's kind of
Right,
cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
shouts
shout out
out,
to Draco,
shouts
yeah.
out to the overall experiences going to a SLU game. I think it sees 12,000 people, the Chafins
something
Arena.
like that.
Yeah, it's
but
no bad seat in the house.
yeah, it's a great
That's the
venue.
best part about it.
Yeah.
Do you foresee like some way somehow SLU being able to get like a North Carolina or a Duke into that arena
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know.
or Kentucky or something like that?
Well, I mean, that's the one.
When the Blue Bloods.
Well, you think that, well, and because Travis played there and is from there, that would be the one that maybe he can persuade them
Exactly.
to do.
We got a Cam Fletcher from Vashon going there.
Yeah.
To
That'd
Kentucky.
be
So there you go.
perfect time to do it, yeah.
Right. Come
Yeah.
let one of your key guys come home and play. That would be fun to see.
Yeah.
I mean, Seton Hall was. I mean, it's not. It's a old school with blue uniforms, but they're not blue bloods.
Right.
But they were here. That was kind of
Right,
cool.
that was, they was ranked pretty high at the
Yeah,
time
yeah.
too. So
12th, yeah.
And then as we shift to Mizzou, how likely? Because it sounds like Conzo and Travis Ford wants to make this happen, but SLU versus Mizzou.
Gosh, I don't have any inside info on that, but I sure as heck would love it. You know, you can argue, and you guys probably make the same argument with your buddies or just sitting around, that like what is in it for Mizzou? If they win, they're supposed to win. If they lose, how'd you lose to SLU?
Exactly.
So they're like, why would we drive 2 hours to come to St. Louis,
Right.
to possibly lose?
They're going to have to get the sponsorship up.
Yeah.
Once
and
the money is involved,
Yeah.
you ain't got no choice.
That's true,
You know
yeah,
what I mean? So I think they got a lot to do with it.
Rick says, I want to see DePaul versus SLU.
Who want to see DePaul?
Speaking of
I'm
DePaul,
talking about Chicago and stuff again.
exactly.
Right.
This story here, golly, tip of the tongue. He played with SLU, Cartier Gordon.
Oh yeah.
That's a crazy story because he left SLU, went to DePaul, and before even playing the game for DePaul, he's gone from DePaul. If he would have stayed at SLU and just kept playing, this team
Just trust the
could be
system.
so much further
Exactly.
than where they are right now.
You wanna
But he
talk-
left.
It
Well,
was stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, you look at, we're talking about Jimerson, what's his name? Gibson Jimerson making a 10-point per game impact as a
Right.
freshman. Last year, around this time, we're talking about like the 8 points per game and the 6 rebounds from freshman Cartier Gordon,
Right.
and how a key player he was for SLU. I mean, I don't know him. I've only interviewed him a couple times. I don't have any inside information to like what's going on between the ears. But I mean, didn't he switched high schools, and now I believe he's been to 4 different. I think he's at his 4th collegiate
In
place.
2 years.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what he wants. I don't know what he's not doing, what is happening, but it's unfortunate because he was a talented basketball player.
Right.
Hopefully for his sake still is.
He was like a 4-star, 5-star recruit.
Oh yeah, that was a big deal when
Yeah.
they got him. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But hopefully SLU has a great year, rest of a great year. Do you feel, and I know I said Mizzou earlier, but last question for SLU.
Sure.
Do you feel, even with their great start, are they a mirage? Meaning that it looks good,
Sure.
got some promise, but at the end of the day, they're not as good as we think they are. In regards to going to the big dance again and everything.
Well, a lot of it, and I'm kind of dancing, pun intended, dancing around your question because they're in the A10,
Right.
and
They'll get a lot of respect at all.
yeah, and I don't. There's not a lot. I mean, there's Dayton's good, VCU's good. There's not many good teams in that conference.
Right.
So what I'm getting at is, can SLU, can they even make the tournament if they don't win their conference tournament? Even if they have like a bunch of wins, even if they have 20 wins, what's their net rating? What's their Ken Palm rating?
Right.
If they had just beaten, was it Seton Hall? Who was the other team they played?
Auburn.
Yeah, they're right. Auburn, who's 6th in the nation.
They were right there with Auburn.
Currently 6th. If they had defeated Auburn, that'd be a different thing. So I think SLU is going to have a very, very good season. So I don't think they're a mirage. But can they make the tournament again? I mean, they had to win that dang tournament last year just to get in the real tournament. Gosh, Dayton has like a top 15 player in the like a top 15 NBA draft pick on their team. They're really good. VCU. It's gonna be hard for SLU to also make the NCAA tournament, but it's fun to watch.
Exactly. So shouts out to SLU. Now, going to Mizzou. Let's talk about football first before basketball. Your thoughts on Eli Drinkowitz?
Coach Drink. Coach Drink.
Harpo's.
You're right.
Buy you a drink.
I'm sure they're coming up with names.
They're going crazy down there, man.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we should do a whole separate show. Just stories of Harpo's.
Right.
After the show, we will have a special.
If y'all never been to Harpo's, man, look.
And we can bring in my brother-in-law Mark because he hangs out at the Harpo's here in St. Louis, so he can bring that element of
Shout out to my brother Jared, who got legendary stories from Harpo's.
Oh wow,
incredible.
Yes.
Gosh.
He said they try to take the goalpost in Harpo's one time.
They do, yeah. After the Oklahoma win in 2010.
that was the one, against Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
They
try to take a goalpost inside a bar.
They walked, they tore it down and carried it across town
down there, man.
Yeah. No, not the chains, the goalpost.
No, you're right.
They're not all winners here. Look, it's a 3-hour show, 2-hour show. I can't. They all can't be winners.
Right.
So, in reference to Coach Eli Drinkowitz, I'm intrigued. In the times I've spent talking to him and the times I've talked to other people about him, he comes off as a guy that isn't here to F around. He is here to win big.
That's what I like.
And I don't want to say Barry. I mean, I sat with Barry Odom when he got hired. He's like, I'm here to win championships. That's plural.
Right.
But, what's a coach going to say? I'm here to go 6-6. Hopefully we get in the Shreveport Bowl. No coach is going to say that. Right. But I like Coach Drinkowitz. I like his cadence. I wrote in the paper that he kind of sounds like one of those like, what do you call them? Like mega church pastors.
Joe Osteen.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, listen to him talk, and maybe it's just he's got the southern twang, but he talks with confidence, with bravado, and with like everything's like should be on a poster, like a quote, like all these quotes that like failure is not this, failure is this,
Right.
And
the cliche guy.
Totally, and but he hasn't been on a football team. He's never been on a college football staff that's had the losing season. Starting when he was the lowest of the low on the Auburn staff that won the national championship in 2010. Smart coaches say he's smart, so that's good. And he's saying all the right things, and he wins. So
yeah.
Sure. So yeah, the resume looks great. He won the press conference.
I was very impressed by this move by SLU. It was one of those I didn't see it coming. Like it was one of those moves like they finally like made a bold move. It wasn't about getting like the really big name. I know Lane Kiffin was available, whoever else, but they went out their way and did something different.
Yeah, they got that up and comer.
Exactly.
Maybe a year early, if you will, but
I mean, he's younger than y'all.
Oh my gosh!
You know what I'm saying?
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
But just the fact that they made the bold movement and you saw it coming because Jim Sturk didn't choose Odom.
Right.
And with him already making that hire to acquire Council Martin,
yeah,
you knew that he wanted to go ahead and make that move to get that football coach. And I really like how they got Drinkwitz, and he brings a different aura, like you said, about himself.
Right.
Then the staff that he's bringing in, it's like an all-star staff.
Yep.
Forgive me for not saying his name right or know his name, but the coach from TCU,
Curtis Looper,
they call him Coach Swag.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's time to get a better identity
there you go.
for Mizzou, because ever since they've been to the SEC.
Yeah.
I know the couple years with Gary Pinkel, we went to the championship game and everything.
Sure.
But with Odom, something has been lost.
Right.
In which leads me to ask you, has it been an overall mistake for Mizzou to go to the SEC?
Oh, no. Money is the most important. Love is the most important thing in life. But you can't get love in college sports. So money is the most important thing.
Right. No, Angela watching.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Love.
Hi,
Yeah.
Angela.
Yeah. Love is more important than anything, but money is a close second. No, I mean what I'm getting at, of course, is the SEC provides you financial things that the Big 12 could not. So we could sit here and have the argument. Okay, Mizzou's winning 6, 7, 8 games. Maybe these same teams could be winning 8, 9, 10 games in the Big 12. But at the end of the day, like, there's been such a profit and such a growth in Columbia with the sports because of the SEC.
Yep.
It's hard to think it was a bad move or the wrong move.
I just feel like, yeah, we have been there for a few years now, but the respect of us being there still.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I
Ain't
mean,
did nothing yet.
I'll never forget. I
we
went.
almost did.
Almost,
the
but
2
don't
years.
count, man.
Yeah.
This ain't Brandy. Almost don't count.
I think about this dude that sat behind me. I got, long story long, I got tickets. I wasn't as a journalist, but I got tickets to the Kansas versus Kentucky finals in the college basketball in New Orleans, where I used to live.
Right.
And it was right when Mizzou had joined the SEC, like a couple of years, whatever the math is.
Okay.
And I wore, to be funny, a Mizzou hat. I wasn't a reporter yet for St. Louis.
Right.
So now I take all the hats off, literally and figuratively.
Right.
But at the time, I was like, oh, it'd be funny. I'm rooting for Kentucky.
Right.
So I'm rooting against Kansas.
Exactly.
So I wore a
Way to go,
Mizzou
man.
hat. Yeah, it was funny at the time.
Nah, that's not funny to me. Just
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
Just so you know.
Look, you
I just want to get uncomfortable.
You
real
had
quick.
Chalmers. You experienced
Oh, you won.
Chalmers.
Yeah.
Maybe you were a fan in '88. You experienced Danny Manning.
That's what made me a Kansas Jayhawks fan. That's
There
the
you go.
first actual college game I actually saw.
Come on, yeah.
Danny and the Miracles.
Yeah,
Yep.
all Mizzou has
And
Norfolk
my
State.
cousin, Rick Simpson, guess what team he loves?
Jayhawks.
Yep.
My man.
Rick
Even though
Simpson.
he went to the V. My man.
I keep losing my train of thought.
Sorry.
We're talking
I
about
got you. We talking about we switching over.
yeah. No, but what story? That's embarrassing.
oh.
Well,
Talking about
I wore the hat. The guy
wore the
behind me.
hat
So
and all
there's
that
this
good
guy
stuff.
behind me, and he's got the swooping Southern haircut. He looks like a Tennessee quarterback or something.
Friday quarterback.
Yeah, and he is he's like talking trash, making fun of Mizzou. He's like,
Right.
you guys want to come in the SEC? And like at the time, they had just joined, so I'm like,
Right.
I see where it comes from, but like. We got a pretty good football team, the whole thing. But now I think about that guy, and I bet he's still like, I remember that.
You know he can't wait to talk all this.
Yeah, he's
stuff.
like, I remember that Frodo-looking Robin Williams guy from that game. And
Jumanji.
he was trying to tell me that Mizzou was going to be good in sports, and they're not.
Right,
So
yeah.
I think of him. There's so many of him and her. They're talking about Mizzou like that. But okay, let's see what Coach Drinkwitz can do.
The career of the 1 year of Kelly Bryant. Your thoughts?
What a shame what a shame, right? They wasted an opportunity, and I don't know how hurt he was in some of those later games,
Right.
but that Vanderbilt. He played well in Wyoming,
That
but the Vanderbilt.
Lord.
I felt you want to like hug Kelly, like I'm so
He
sorry.
just hurt his soul, bring
Yeah.
it up, man. Little bead of sweat just came on top.
It is amazing. Talk about how one day can change anything.
Anything.
If they had just won
sports,
that game,
man. That's
right?
sports.
Yeah.
That's
If
why
they
we
win
do
that
it.
game, Odom's probably still the coach.
Yup.
Right.
They probably
Jason Garrett can say the same thing.
say again.
Jason Garrett can say the same thing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Right.
So going to basketball. He's speaking about Kansas. How big is it that we got the rivalry back starting next year?
Enormous. I went to that game that didn't even count.
Yeah.
The one in Kansas
it was
City.
packed out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sold out.
Yes.
Yep.
And they
The
were
rivalry is real, man.
the rivalry is
We don't care
real.
about TV and ratings. That is a real rivalry. Like, we will play y'all in the parking lot.
Yeah.
with crates.
It's cool, right?
Yeah.
And
Chain nets.
Yeah, all that, man.
Double
no backboard,
rounds.
no backboard.
Right, double
All
rounds.
rim, yeah.
Right. The I love it, and it's just fun for this right here. People that are literally at the same table who are so passionate about the other team, and there's so many people like us across this Midwest, and it's good for everybody involved. So let's do it. Let's tip it off.
I agree.
and it's gonna happen.
Yeah. It should be great, man. Starting next
It's
year.
going to be great.
Yeah. So next year is going to be at the Sprint Center, Kansas City. And then the years following starts in KU, and then at Mizzou, they rotate for the next 3 years after that. And then the last year it goes back to the Sprint Center. It should be incredible.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's good for the game of college basketball. We missed that rivalry. So going into the Missouri Tiger, we talked about SLU earlier. This has to be, in regards to his third year as the head coach for Mizzou, Kyle Martin, this has to be a setback.
This season,
Yes.
it's not over yet, though. The Tillman injury, I joked earlier about the foul trouble, but the Tillman injury seriously hurts the team, and they're saying it could be a month.
Right.
That's a lot of SEC basketball games
is.
without your most talented player.
Month,
Yeah. Mizzou plays defense hard, though, and
Not last night, but
well, yeah, yeah. I mean, down the stretch, those guys hit some threes, no question.
yeah.
Got to go at the 3-point line.
Yeah.
today.
You got
to.
They had that mid-range on lock.
Play a soft zone. That's not
No.
even possible right now.
But that,
And wide open 3-pointers too.
but in the Illinois game,
error, so that's we can't
Yeah.
give them no slack for that.
but I
They
mean,
play anything.
statistically, I mean, I think I even read in the Dave Matter piece, like coming into that game, they were in the top 10 in 3-point defense.
Right.
And then we saw, I was sitting there at the bragging rights game, and the way they shut down Illinois.
They were on fire.
Who's a good team, so
They had to win that one.
they can play D. But I mean, look, we talked about guys on SLU that need to step up the scoring.
Oh my Lord.
Well, Mizzou, I mean,
Oh my God! Seeing that game last night, many of their games, should I say, is very frustrating to watch. They are also lacking that go-to score.
Yep.
They've been promoting before the season, big guard you,
yeah,
Mark Smith, Drew Smith, Pinson. Then you brought in Vashawn Zone, Mario McKinney, but you haven't seen the big guard you.
They got too many.
Mark Smith, he was hyped.
Yeah.
They got him from Illinois. He went to Illinois, transferred to Mizzou. First year, he led the SEC, one of the top 3-point shooters in the country. Then he got hurt. Next year, he's playing, but we have too many set shooters,
yeah,
meaning that we have to rely on someone else to make a move,
Right.
for you to get open and shoot a shot.
yeah.
Mizzou is, and like I said, that's why I said snake bitten, because we had Michael Porter Jr. and we had Javante Porter, and unfortunately they got hurt. But Mizzou is still lacking having that guy that can take someone off the dribble outside of Pinson.
Yeah,
Because
he's fun to watch.
He
yeah.
does it, but because he's only like 6'1" and only weigh 80 pounds,
Right.
he can't really do what he really wants to do.
Sure. At least, I mean, and a lot of it is back to the C word, confidence. Like a lot of it is just like, give me the basketball so I can make something happen.
Right.
Pinson plays that way. Mark Smith doesn't always play that way.
Right.
And maybe, and again, we're not in his head and we're not Konzo. Maybe they know, but just from an eye test, you're like, come on, where's that killer instinct?
Exactly.
You clearly have a good 3-point shot, Mark Smith. Let's see it with more confidence.
And like someone else, Torrance Watson. Dude scored average almost 30 points a game his senior year in high school. He gets to Mizzou, and it seems like he's settling on being a set shooter also.
It's different, man.
What happened to
It's different.
you being more aggressive and showing why you are a 30-point scorer in high school?
College and high school is totally different.
I know,
man.
I
Like
know.
you got to understand the dynamic of the schemes. Like you don't have a real scouting report in high school like this. On top of that, you got coaches that know how to put different defenses, different guys in there, this and that. So it's a lot. Believe it or not, I played with guys like that where it was a lot of 30-point scorers that averaged like 7 or 8. So in response to what you just said, you know what I'm saying, in all fairness, it take a while to get used to the college game.
So is that more on the player or on
Both.
on the on
Both.
Konzo and the coaches to get them
It's an
better?
in-game adjustment from the college coach and the college player, because the player has to start finding pockets within the game. It's almost
Right.
like an audible with a quarterback. Right. If you a short corner guy in the zone and you start seeing, hey man, if I go to the elbow instead of the corner, I'll be a little more open.
Yeah.
But it's also on the coach to kind of put that into you too. And also the guys that surrounding you. Because a good point guard or a good center, we always joke about Jokic or whatever like that.
Sure, sure.
But if you notice, he don't get himself in trouble because he can backdoor, and the guys around him know, hey, man, it's like LeBron. I watched that the other night. LeBron assist total is strictly because he got guys like Kuzma and all them guys, like everybody joking about Kuzma leaving the Lakers or whatever like that. But if you notice, every time he get in trouble, them guys cut back door or whatever like that and kind of save the play. So you got to make them in-game adjustments. So it's on the coach and the player both. Mostly on the coach because he should have more experience with that, but also on the player. He going to learn that as he goes along.
So with that being said, is Tillman your biggest disappointment for Mizzou?
Damn.
I mean, you're asking compared to the other players on Mizzou. Yeah, I mean, you would have to say that because he is so talented, because he is in his third year. And he actually, we joke about the foul trouble, but really, for some of these games this year, he hasn't been in foul trouble. But yeah, you would have thought by his third year, and the voters of the preseason teams had him high, but you just would have thought that he would, more games than not, I say take over. When I think take over, I think of Keon Dooling or Clarence Gilbert scoring 28. That's taking over a game.
Most pivotal year in school.
But I would like to clearly see more consistency in double figure scoring for him.
Yeah, to me, I am very disappointed in Tillman because I'm one in which I want to see the progression from year one to year, to wherever you're at. He hasn't changed in regards to being on the floor. Yeah. If he was on the floor 20, 30 minutes a game, Mizzou could be so much better than where they are at right now. I look here at Kentucky, and I know we had the game against Kentucky this past weekend. Mick Richards, 7'1" or 7-footer, how he took over the game against Mizzou is how Tillman should be. But it can't do it because he doesn't stay on the floor. He's hurting himself. Third year, and you're still doing the same things you did as a freshman. That's the part that I don't like. Going back to Mark Smith, 1 year you this, I expect growth.
Sure.
Changes. Torrance Watson, I expect changes. Pinson, he's been a lot better than what he was last year. He's playing behind Jordan Geis, but he's showing that he can go to the hole more and everything. Which leads to going back to Conzo Martin and his coaching style. When I saw how he was handling the roster, it seemed like he played certain guys in certain increments. Is his coaching style, the way how he's handling the roster, good for this team? Because it's like, he has a guy play for 5 minutes, then he's out.
Right.
And the next guy comes in for 2 minutes, then he's out.
I'm glad you asked that question. I definitely want to know
that.
Yeah,
because
I was tripping off the same thing.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
So, for instance, it was an instance in the game against Kentucky where he had a lineup in, and then he took out, Mark Smith.
Lineup,
and then it was a foul that was called, 2 seconds after that, and right back after that call, he put Mark Smith right back in the game. It was like, okay, what is your logic in regards to how you handle the team minutes?
Yeah, and it's interesting because we will watch something like that from our couch, and be like, oh man, what is he doing? And then we sit down with him for 3 minutes, 5 minutes. You're like, this guy's a genius.
Right.
I mean, and it's the same with front offices in baseball, where people are like, these guys don't know anything about baseball if they sign Brett Cecil. Like, wait a second. Yes, they made a mistake signing Brett Cecil. They that one didn't work out. Right. But these guys know so much. They're very smart, and they have smart computers in front of them as well. But a lot of this sport is mentoring late teenagers, 18, 19, or early 20s. And Conzo has proven to be very good at that over the years. But that doesn't mean you're going to hit a home run with each one.
Exactly.
And when you look at Tillman, he loves Tillman. Tillman's a great human too. He loves Tillman the guy, loves Tillman the player.
Right.
But has Tillman been maximized at Mizzou 2.5 years into this? No. Is that a failure on anybody's part? That's a strong word.
Right.
But it's maybe not an accomplishment.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just think about that the human aspect of it.
Yeah.
Right. So once again, this is the Platform Sports Talk Show. This has been an incredible show. We
Show,
still haven't even got to our regular topic because this
dude's so interesting, man. We just got to let him talk.
Let's not get carried away.
and that's why
This is my favorite guest so far. Don't disrespect nobody else.
I'll
man.
take it.
that's why I post that topics are subject to change because we discuss sports.
Freestyling, man.
It's the ultimate reality show.
Yes.
Yes.
Man.
Oh, yeah.
Down the man
There's
cave,
no
man.
off day because the sports. Something always going on. To everyone who's watching this show right now, thank you. Share this stream right now to all your friends because we have a whole lot more to go.
Mike Lucas, I ain't forgot about you, man. We're going to get into that.
Yeah. So let's talk about the St. Louis Battle Hawks.
Uh-oh.
That was not planned.
Yes.
Hey, I swear it wasn't. Because you see how I enjoyed it. So I had no clue what was about to happen.
How excited are you about this XFL team?
Strangely, I am pretty excited about it. I say
am
that
too.
because it is a lesser professional football league than the NFL. I mean, it was funny the other day. I wrote a column about that, and I was able to get hashtag Cacaw into the newspaper.
How you spell that?
Well, that's what we're getting at.
KAAAAAW.
Well, there
okay.
is I hate to say official, but I think it's because I wrote it wrong is what I'm getting at, and I got emails, and I was able to fix it for online. I had written hashtag CA.
That's what I would have did.
CAW.
When he said K, I'm like, oh, I already messed up.
And then it was pointed out that it was hashtag KAKAW is the one that the
I'm the
fans.
dude that's on New Year's Day saying 2021 my New Year. I
Right.
already messed up.
Yeah, right.
I
Yeah,
would have
exactly.
messed up on the first letter.
Yep,
So,
right.
yeah.
So, am I excited about the Battlehawks? Sure, why not? Here is an energetic franchise, an energetic league that wants to be in St. Louis.
Yep.
And the guy that runs the team, Kurt Hunsaker, who I've met a few times, is a very passionate man. And Brian Stoll is their PR guy. I've known him for years.
Yes, good guy.
Yeah, he wants to get the word out. They want to be part of the community, and the tickets to see a professional
Cheap.
football game are
We just talked about
$20.
that. And
$20.
Is it Oz Hakeem in there?
He is an assistant coach.
Is he?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know that.
See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He teaches them how to fumble punts and key,
Yeah, that was what I was saying. The
key
same thing.
playoff games.
Like, I had an Oz Hakeem jersey and I got rid of it. because
Please
of that.
don't
So-
bring back that game against the New Orleans Saints. They all he had to do was catch the ball, and he fumbled it.
Shout out to my Saints. So I couldn't be too mad, but
Oh,
at
man.
the same time, I was like, not like this, though, man.
Yeah.
Not like this.
But yeah, Oz is an assistant coach for them.
Yeah, Oz
and
man, he gonna bring some guys with him, man.
And then, so it was kind of cool. Brian Stoll, the PR guy, they brought in Oliver Luck,
Yes.
Andrew's father, former NFL quarterback himself,
Right.
who's the commissioner of the league. And I was fortunate to get to sit down with him.
Luck retired, so he might as well come on.
There you get Andrew in
Right,
there.
there
Yeah.
you go. Yeah.
Well, do you see who else the other day? They were like, Phillip Rivers wants to play next year, but he doesn't know what team. I tweeted, Battlehawks? Question mark?
Right. Might as well.
Right, come on over, man.
Yeah, we'll take it for
Right, you get a ring. Man.
right. You want to be a champion?
Right, you
Join the
I was
Battlehawks.
like, come on.
Right.
Here.
You ain't doing nothing right
Right,
now.
you ain't
so
doing
might
nothing
as
else.
well.
Right, get you a ring.
Yeah. So it was a really neat experience getting to talk to Oliver Luck, and I was candid with him. I'm like, I'm going to ask you questions from a skeptical standpoint, because I want you to sell this league to me. Because why should we, St. Louis, want to be involved and want to be interested? Is the right word. And he basically said. He's like, we're going to make it a faster game. We're going to both on the field with speed and then time-wise the length of the game. So they're shooting for 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Yes.
He says, and I said, like, well, if you go to a Rams game in 2013, 14, 15, that dome was very empty. And he goes, look, I understand that. And pointing out that they'll probably have, whatever the math is, 25,000.
It's not a big football
But
town.
he goes, look, we put on a show. We are connected to
That's how they
wrestling.
Yeah.
We are connected to Vince McMahon. What we do best is put on a show.
Right.
He's
and
like
promote.
and promote. Yeah,
That's how
exactly.
That's how the Rams got their fan base, the best show on turf.
Yeah. So his point to me and to thus the sports fans in St. Louis was like, give us a chance because you might be skeptical, but we're not half doing this. We are going to put on a show,
Hey, man.
and it's football. And if you like watching the game, and it's the old, what else are you going to do? It's February 26th.
You gonna get your money's worth.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's
We
not like
already know
you're,
that.
and it's
Yeah.
not like you're like choosing between the NFL and the XFL. The whole point
Exactly, yeah.
is it's in the spring and yeah. So I'm
We ain't
intrigued.
got nothing else going on.
Yeah. I'm very intrigued about the XFL as well. I think what this could do is be one of those stepping stones for guys to play their best because the NFL could pick up on what you're doing,
Yep.
Yeah.
and that can give you an opportunity to get into the league.
That's well said. Yeah.
And I like how, unlike the first time they came around, in which everything was so rushed,
Yeah.
so you couldn't have you
And
didn't
they had
have
weird
your
rules, too.
team together.
Yeah.
Everything was just really just not the way that it should be, how it is now.
Yeah.
And Vince McMahon, he sat back and allowed football people
Mm-hmm.
to take care of football things.
It's our version of CFL.
Exactly. And I know the AFL only had like 6-7 games, and then they just collapsed.
Yeah.
You know. But now XFL has ESPN. They have
Right.
Fox.
The back.
Yeah.
end.
You know,
ain't gonna
they
let 'em,
have
yeah.
they have major networks. I really like the direction that this is going. This should be great for the league. And as we get into it,
We got the best name of all time.
Battlehawks.
Oh my God! Who got a better name than
It
that?
grew on me.
And
At first, I'm like,
also-
what does that even mean?
No, man, that's
And
tough.
also-
Man. I love it, man.
It grew on me. I'm with you now.
Yeah.
Now, to
Especially after
me-
the uniforms came out.
Yeah, this is
right.
That's what
fantastic.
solidified it. Yeah.
To me, I feel we have like the best logo
Yep.
In the XFL.
in the game. Matter of fact, on your screen right now is the
Y'all know y'all want one.
y'all know
Out of town people.
We'll see in a
Y'all know
second.
y'all want one.
But y'all see it right now. It's the best logo, I think.
Gotta be, man.
And you know
In
about
the
how
game.
if it's upside down, you can see STL in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
I peeped that. It's like totally
It's like
dope.
FedEx or the Milwaukee Brewers.
And which they have some cool jerseys coming out next year as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
So going back
get the
to
hoodie.
the XFL, right? They I like how 101 ESPN had like the little remix.
Oh yeah.
Really? Everything.
It's
man.
dope. It's dope.
Man, you gotta text me that, man. I didn't
So
know that.
yesterday, the XFL brought out the rules.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they're totally different than the NFL. So I'm gonna go ahead and read it out and just check it out.
No
It's-
ball, just knocking each other down.
Right.
Right.
That's
There's
it.
no ball.
Wrestling
Yes.
with uniforms on.
So and just so you
Different
know,
rules.
Right.
normally our show goes on to about 9 o'clock ish. Just so you know ahead of time.
Oh, we going way.
Yeah, because this has been
Dave, I'm
incredible.
sorry. I'm held hostage.
Sorry, Angela.
I didn't know this guy was gonna be this interested. Like, I'll explain when I get home.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like,
This is
don't
great.
lock me out. Don't put me on the couch.
This
I have
is
a
great
couch if you want to
TV.
come by. Actually, we have a guest bedroom. You're welcome to come by.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it
I'll
is.
be accused of
Hey,
cheating. I'm not gonna do that.
so
I'm going home.
So with that being said, so it's been invited to the cookout.
Oh yeah, he been invited to the cookouts as a pre-show.
There it is.
All right.
There
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
he good.
All right,
Matter of
so
fact, he
yeah,
gonna be
one-
on the grill.
Right. So once again, this show will be going longer than usual.
Yeah.
So enjoy.
Bear with us. Bear with us.
Once
I know
again-
y'all watching though.
Right,
Like, y'all
once
y'all
again-
want to see him leave. Stop playing.
Right. Once again, share with the peoples. So a kickoff is designed. Well, let me just go past that part.
Okay.
The ball will be kicked off from the 30-yard line.
Okay.
But the coverage and blocking teams will line up at the receiving team's 35 and 30-yard lines respectively. Only the kicker,
So you in field goal range pretty much out the gate.
only the
almost.
kicker and returner can move until the ball is caught or 3 seconds after it hits the ground. A touchback will be spotted at the 35-yard line. Kicks out of bounds, it goes to the 45-yard line. So basically, this gives the opportunity for us to enjoy
High score.
less touchbacks
Yeah.
and more returns.
Yeah, which is
Right.
There's nothing in a
All
sport.
scoring.
In a sport that is, of all the sports, known for its impact and amazing plays, nothing is more dull than a touchback. You're sitting there, you're like, oh my god, and then they go to commercial sometimes.
Right, right,
dude.
Anyway, of course, I mean the XFL, they did it right. They sat down with football fans and said, "What don't you like about the NFL?" And they said this, that, and now they're trying to tinker their rules to appease the fans.
Yeah.
So they say players can't leave the line of scrimmage on punts until after the kick. Any kicks that go into the end zone or out of bounds will be marked at the 35-yard
That's
line.
a lot of punt returns coming up.
Or wherever the ball went out of bounds, whichever is better for the receiving team. The idea is to discourage fair catches. So less of the, I got it, whatever.
I mean, you got like a 30-yard head start.
Exactly.
Because
And
they can't leave the line of scrimmage till you catch the ball.
I was like, be like, why can't I play in the XFL?
Exactly. Now y'all want to have me to play it.
I would have torn this thing up.
Whole life. I got a perfect place.
Even if I fumbled, I'd pick it up and still get 50 yards.
Deshaun Jackson.
Right.
so check this out. So 3 options after scoring a touchdown.
Okay.
A 1-point play from the 2-yard line.
A 1-point play.
A 2-point play from the 3-yard line, or a 3-point play from the 10-yard line. There is no option to kick an extra point. So if you're down by 9, you still have a chance to tie the game up.
Right. That's crazy.
With a touchdown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I love it.
So it's a gimmick league.
Now this, no, I won't say gimmick. Like gimmicky would be
Well, the first year is going to be a gimmick league.
like
I
what
promise.
they had at the original XFL,
The
where they had
XFL,
like crazy, tackles at like stupid stuff that they had on
RIP to everybody that did a punt return to XFL. RIP to y'all. Y'all
like,
sitting there crippled.
Like
crazy
recall
right now.
how NFL Street was.
Right. The video
Or the
game.
lightning bolt or a blitz. I was gonna say like blitz. Yeah.
Blitz.
Something like that. So now this is like the kicker of everything. They're gonna have a shootout style overtime.
Oh yeah, this league is
So
lit,
look,
man.
so each team will get 5 single play possessions from the 5-yard line. So basically, if the better Hawks go first,
and they threw like a 45-yard touchdown. I mean a 45-yard pass.
then the opponent goes right after that. You get 5 chances. The team pretty much that has the most points.
Oh, so you get, and so actually, if I can jump in, what you said is not the 45 thing. No, each time they're on the 5-yard line.
5-yard
So you have 5
line.
chances
Score, yeah.
from the 5-yard line.
Right.
So
Exactly.
the most you can get is 5, if you will, points.
Right. So
5 scores.
So
Gotcha.
it's pretty much like hockey,
Yeah.
in which the best of 5
That's cool. All
is
right.
the winner.
All right.
Okay, all right. So
Right.
you got to try to score 5 times.
Each time from the 5-yard line.
Right.
you.
So
Okay,
you
I
get
got
5 chances from the 5-yard line.
So how they gonna do that in a 2-hour and 45-minute?
Well,
Overtime.
there's a thing that says that they're gonna, because of the 3-2-1 with the kicks or with the fake field.
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say, with the
Right.
extra points,
Right,
whatever.
right.
There won't be many overtimes.
Exactly.
Okay, that's okay.
Because
that was gonna be
coaches,
my-
Yeah.
okay,
because
so I didn't read
coaches
that
are
far.
now going to be saying, should I go for 1,
exactly
2,
yeah.
or 3?
Right, go
So
for the
more than
gusto.
likely,
You know,
it'll be less opportunities to go to overtime.
you know what this league will be good for? Young students learning math.
Exactly.
Or 39-year-old sports writers learning
Hopefully
math.
it ain't no St. Louis Cardinals type managers that want to play it safe and get the 1. Get the 1.
Right.
Get the 1. Yeah, so okay, I got you. I
Yeah,
got
so there's a slew of other rules. We won't get to everything, but I just wanted to bring out the ones that I did.
Yeah.
They're all about trying to make the game faster for the fans and not be a lull. They're saying that they're going to have 2, I believe it's 20-minute. I'm sorry, let me go back real quick and see. Here we go. So they want to have a 10-minute halftime.
I was going to ask that next. How
In
long
which
is
the
halftime?
NFL is like around 12, 13-minute
15, yeah,
halftime. Let's see here. A video official who can intervene on significant non-reviewable plays when involving player safety.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have a Hawkeye technology that ingests video directly from the broadcast truck.
Okay.
Dean Blandino, he's one of the officials from the NFL. He's going to be spearheading the officiating crew in the XFL.
Okay.
So I really like that. And I believe they said like they don't have the quarters on here. I thought they had the quarters, but I guess we'll find out later on. But
I'll tell you another thing they're doing. They're doing in-game interviews with players.
that's huge.
Oh, okay.
Because the fans want to be able to get that experience from a player's point of view during the game.
A guy scores makes an amazing
Twitter,
catch.
We got that already.
Right.
This dude's getting trouble for it.
Yeah. So I mean, Oliver Luck, the commissioner, says like a guy makes an amazing catch for a touchdown.
In-game interview.
He's coming off the sideline. Right. He's just celebrating.
I want an in-game interview with somebody getting ejected and on their way to the locker room.
Hey, I bet they've talked about that, right?
Please give me one of them.
I wonder if they'll do that.
Right.
That's a question. That's a good question.
Hey man, bleep this, bleep.
Right.
So I think sometimes, man, certain sports, maybe all of them, should just be like on HBO or something.
They should be. I mean, if you actually pay attention, if you listen closely, the fans, the players, you can hear all that.
Yeah, and people love to see that raw emotion.
Sure.
Exactly.
That's not censored, but raw emotion.
Human.
Now I know majority of the sports, probably all of them, are all about family oriented.
They are.
But at the end of the day, just being raw sells.
Exactly.
All
the West Coast games should be uncensored. Kids in bed for us. The kids in bed already. It's 10 o'clock.
It took me a second. Why West Coast? Oh, because the late time.
Right. So for the Midwest, can y'all do us a solid?
Yeah.
And put all the West Coast games.
Right.
R-rated.
Put the most animated coaches and players on the West Coast teams.
Everything. No LeBron stuff where they doing it. Nah.
Right.
We want to see and hear everything.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so man, overall, I really expect some big things in regards to the Battlehawks. We already got a supposedly rivalry with Tampa Bay Vipers already. So
we got beef?
We got beef.
Tampa Bay, if any of y'all watching, it's like that for y'all, man. Battlehawks,
It's
baby.
It's like that.
Ain't nobody worried about no Vipers.
All right.
I don't even like the car. The little bitty thing. I hate them cars, man.
All right, so once again, shouts out. Thank you, Oliver Luck, and to the XFL for allowing St. Louis to be part of the franchise. And it starts in, I believe, almost like a month.
Yeah, I think it's early February is the first game.
Right.
Yeah.
The Battlehawks have 3 road games before they come home.
Yeah.
Two
road games.
2 road games.
Dallas and I believe like New York, but
Okay.
I know
they start in Dallas. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where does that team play? Do they play in the Jerry Dome?
No, they're playing, I believe, in the same arena. No, they're playing at the old Texas Rangers stadium.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're playing there.
That'd be a cool visual.
Yeah. All right. So the other professional team that maybe having a little bit of issues with getting things going with getting that dirt dug in.
Right.
That's the MLS. How big is it for St. Louis for us to have an MLS team?
It's very big. Moreover, I'm learning why it's so big. Something new each week, each month. I mean, we're talking about being the same age, and like a lot of things. I can know a lot about sports, and I can interview to learn more about sports. But I'm not 18 years old. I'm not 22. I'm not the next generation that loves soccer in a way that we didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
In a way that we just can't relate to. And so the sport of soccer has grown significantly because of social media and other reasons. But now soccer's on your phone, and the fan bases grow. What I'm getting at is like there is already a popularity among the young kids for the sport. Now you bring a team to their town, and then by the time the kid that's whatever the math, I'm bad with math as you can obviously tell from this show.
It's got to be a 98 thing.
Yeah. right. But the idea is like the kids grow up. The kids grow up and they make 95 was known for basketball, 98 was known for being bad at math.
Yeah, we the bad math.
I mean, it's growing a culture, it's growing a community, and as kids get older, they're going to earn money and they're going to spend it on soccer. St. Louis, of course, has an amazing soccer history, which is cool. But I just think it's funny, and I mentioned it kind of earlier with football. Like, we all love football, but like going to a football game can be can be boring sometimes because there's so much downtime.
Yep.
In soccer, ironically, because soccer was the air quotes boring sport, but if you really think about it, that ball, even though it goes out of bounds, they give you a new one real quick. That ball stays in play for 90 minutes. Yeah. The ball is always in action. And if you can appreciate missed shots or near chances the way we appreciate first downs, but not that aren't touchdowns, but we're still like, hey, pretty good play. That's the soccer equivalent. There is so much to like from the entertainment experience, and a lot of people are skeptical. But I bet once they step into that new stadium, they'll be hooked. And it's a great family sport as well. I don't think tickets will be $20, but it's gonna be a great family sport.
I want to take your point and add a thing where I want to say EA Sports actually helped out too, because they got some good soccer games that came out in the last 10 years.
No question.
And I think that's where the new generation really caught hold of it as well.
Yep.
You know,
100%.
Aside for the fact that it's an actual global sport, like it's one of the biggest global sports ever. Like if you ever went to like a Manchester United, like I watch them on TV sometimes, I'm like, you think the Raiders fans are bad?
Right.
Go to a soccer game, man, where they really playing for something, like the Olympics and everything like that. Like, crazy.
And this isn't like scientific or whatever, but like just my wife and I live in a neighborhood where there's an elementary school, and almost every time you see a pocket of kids, at least one of them is wearing a soccer jersey. Messi, Ronaldo, what have you. Clearly, when we were growing up, there would be jerseys for many different sports, but there was not soccer.
And a lot of us played soccer or t-ball.
Sure.
To start off with, that was like your first sport. You
played,
you know what I mean? So I remember my first athletic wear was shin guards.
Okay.
Believe it or not. And I was playing basketball in them. But, you know, they had them at K Martin, Ventures, and all that stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. Venture. Shout out to Venture.
Yeah, shout out to Venture, man. You know, funny thing about Venture.
Still showing on West Florissant right now.
Yeah.
The last snowstorm, we had the cover blew off of it, and the sign was still up.
Isn't that great?
Like, they're not getting rid of Venture. Like,
now I wonder what's under that sign.
Exactly. Right. Like, that's what I was
Woolworths, or I'm trying to think
no. What's the name? Grandpa's.
My church is actually the old Grandpa Pigeons.
Really?
Grandpa Pigeons, that's right. That's what it's called.
New Spring Church. Shout out to my pastor, Tony Ford. My church actually bought out Grandpa Pigeons on 367.
Really? Wow.
That's what we go to church at every day. So now I think about all them times my mom dragged me through there.
Sure.
And we can get
stuff
batteries,
for school.
and sope, and notebooks, and stupid stuff like that. That's why I go to church.
Do you have any concerns? I know we're not talking about politics all the way, but do you have any concerns with Governor Parsons kind of like falling back?
Sure,
on that 30 mil. Wait a minute, hold on now.
Yeah.
When you originally said it's all good, we got you, but now I don't know about the 30 mil. It's a little bit too much.
Right? Is that the way you really wanted to handle that, Governor? Right. There's the whole point of this soccer thing is like galvanizing the community and the state. Right. And here he is basically saying almost like, I don't want to be part of you all of a sudden.
Right.
And I feel like it's not one of those things where you can like be on both sides. Like you're either like invested emotionally and financially or you're not. And it just seemed like an interesting fight to have, fight, I mean. And hopefully it all works out. But the flip side is like, I mean, if we're going to shout outs, I mean, the Taylor family, what they have done for our hometown, it's mind blowing.
So big for our team,
and not just with the soccer team.
For St. Louis.
Yeah. I mean, the money in the Arch Grounds, the money in the Forest Park, the money into gosh knows however many institutions,
Arch
and now
is completely different.
Yeah, and now they're literally going to build a stadium and bring a team
privately funded,
and the governor's chirping about 30 million, which is how much. It's a drop. I don't say it's a drop in the bucket compared, but it's just like, wow, these people are doing so much, and you're going to be petty over this.
Yeah. Now, and what's crazy about them is that, which in Enterprise, like they were trying to be very instrumental in building a new Ram stadium at the time.
Yeah.
You know, they had the rendering, not saying it was the final thing, but they've been so instrumental in trying to get things going for St. Louis for the longest time. And then for Governor Parsons to be acting like you're acting, like I recall when Bernie Miklasz was telling a story about the St. Louis Cardinals, how the owner at the time, Bidwell, wanted to stay in St. Louis, but there was so much divide, and he saw that, and then he had to go to Arizona.
Yeah.
So it's like, why can't we just get things right in regards to sports?
Right.
You know, because it's
Been
obvious
IMO
that
for like 40 years.
it's
50
obvious
years.
that no matter what we go through in regards to like the Ferguson thing and everything, no matter what we go through, sports always brings people back together.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's just a natural.
Right.
That's
No
always
question.
been the question. I mean, the MO. And you go back as far as when the Spirits left. I mean, when they turned to the Hawks and then went to Atlanta.
Right. And one of the neatest things about some of these booming American cities, Nashville, Austin, I guess Seattle's already boomed, if you will, but it's still kind of a progressive booming city, is the way the sports has revitalized downtowns, revitalized optimism. There's something to be said about just wanting to be excited about your town, invest in your town, be a part of your town. And the soccer thing is going to get St. Louis closer to where it needs to be, should be, could be. And the fact that there's people fighting against it is frustrating.
Yeah, it is. Once again, it's the Platform Sports Talk Show. This has been an incredible show once again. Make sure y'all share. Make sure y'all follow us on all them social media sites. And we continue to get it in. Up next, it's time for Joe Knows. So, and this is in regards to Blues hockey and Cardinal baseball. So I know y'all you're talking about everything else. What about this? We got y'all
it's coming. It's coming.
So without any further ado, well, matter of fact, you hearing her ringtone. Right. This is a live show.
All right.
This is how it is.
Hello, Joe.
Hi.
Yes. Did we have Joe on the line once again? If y'all have any questions about Blues or St. Louis Cardinals,
It's the time.
this is the time right now. Joe, how are you doing right now?
I am doing good. I'm just sitting in my little room. Like, I know you've seen that on Facebook and or Instagram, whatever you saw it on.
Right.
I'm watching baseball highlights. I heard Mr. Hoskins talk about Mike Trout, and so I was watching Mike Trout highlights, and now
Nice.
just the 2019 highlights are popping up.
There it is. And like I said, man, Joe, she's a huge fan of the Cardinals, hockey fan as well, and a team in Houston that she's not trying to claim right now.
Oh, you stuck with them. We gonna talk about that.
They ain't no. But yeah, she is a huge Houston Astro fan. So Joe, you have Ben Hockman on the line. Ben Hockman, you have Joe.
Hello, Joe.
Hello.
What's on your mind? Let's talk some sports.
A lot of things. They just showed the Astros on this 2019 highlight, and it was Altuve sent them to the World Series. I'm so excited about it. I don't care what anyone says.
Altuve is one of my favorite players ever because he's one of the only athletes I've ever covered that I can look eye to eye to. He's my hero, my 5'6" hero.
Right, the giant killer.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are cheating, huh? Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Right.
Whatever.
She said whatever. She said,
No, we ain't speed past that. What you got to say about?
Go ahead, B.
Joe,
Get him, B.
what you got to say about this now, Joe?
We can talk about it.
Let's talk about it. We talking about it now.
What was it? It was a couple of years ago. There was talk about the Red Sox cheating, and honestly, that just came out.
Right.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep.
So do you
And
think
the Astros, they're supposedly, whatever, they're cheating. But
supposedly?
honestly,
I think they got a lot of evidence on y'all.
a lot of evidence, I know. But guess what? Even if it did come out, yes, I would be upset. Like I said in past shows, I'd be upset.
Okay.
But for one, you're not going to put a little asterisk by 2017. And two, I'm still going to love them. If the Cardinals were caught cheating, I'm still going to love them. They're my team.
And that's true fandom.
Yeah,
that's true fandom.
And you know what? That's the realest comment you can make because you hold your team accountable. You know what I mean? So that's actually a real person rather than just these blind fan base that we got sometimes. So I appreciate you saying
I've been a fan since Craig Biggio. Craig Biggio is what made me a Astros fan. So I'm not going to stop because there was, a random that cheated. I guarantee all other, now with the Red Sox, I guarantee other 28 teams are cheating too. They just haven't been caught yet.
Oh, not a whole league team.
Right,
See, I knew it was coming. I
I'm just saying, Everyone could be doing it. I'm just saying.
Everyone could
You see Yachty all the time pointing out cameras in center field.
That's facts. Okay, I got you. So let me ask you this then. Do you think they need to have a security guard at the replay center now?
No. It's already in the stadium.
I mean, it's kind of weird that people got so much access to the replay center now, allegedly, all of a sudden.
You know what they need is a replay center for the replay center.
Exactly. Like
surveillance on that.
Exactly. Like all this technology y'all got, y'all can't put a padlock or a combination lock on the door.
Right.
So, yeah.
All I'm saying is, like I said a couple weeks ago, just leave the game how it is. I said baseball's beautiful and I love it. It's America's pastime. I just wish they would just leave it alone.
That's the best statement I heard all day. That's, like it says, America's pastime. When they implemented replay, it just, to me, just cheapened the whole game for me. I just can't stand it.
But from what you said on the pre-show, that you are in favor of replay because you want to make sure that they get the call right.
Yeah, I mean, I am. And I think they've done a better job, clearly done a better job in college basketball in regards to accelerating it. I don't know. I just think back to, I think if I'm a pitcher, for instance, and I just think about, and this kind of ties into something else we talked about on the show, where how the modern young athlete, guy or girl, works just so much more hours and so much, maybe even harder than the athletes from our generation in regards to growing their craft, becoming a star athlete. And it's December and the pitchers are lifting weights. It's January and the pitchers are working on their curveball. And now it's October 4th and I've been working on this curveball and I throw it on a 1-2 pitch and I know that's a called strike. And some blind ump calls it a ball. Are you kidding me?
But you know it's a side of you that like the argument and the passion that comes behind it when they get the call wrong.
Yeah, I mean, no, I know.
So that's the thing. That's where I'm split at, is between, it got to be some bad calls sometimes. That's what creates the drama of sports.
Yeah.
So that's what I think with the, and I'm going to let you get into this, Joe, in a second. I'm sorry. But that's what I think cheapens it by adding a mechanical thing, because you don't get to kick the dirt on the umpire, gets thrown out. The guy, the manager comes out, we don't know what he's saying, but his jaw moving 50 miles an hour. We're trying to figure out what he's saying.
But with that being said, is it more important to see managers arguing with umpires or getting the call right?
Think about how boring baseball would be if there's no arguments, no rushing the mound.
But how better would the game be if the right call?
I got that. I got that. The game will be better, but where's the entertainment value? That's what I'm saying. You gotta understand that.
The entertainment value would be in regards to you seeing strikes being called strikes, balls being called ball, because like, for instance, look at Matt Carpenter.
Right.
He's known for being the guy that knows the strike zone. Right. But then you seen a terrible call of a ball being pitched 3 inches off the strike zone. The fans aren't at a game to see a player get ejected, because
I love that. Honestly, I might be a negative guy.
Yeah, you are on that one.
I might be a negative guy.
You are part.
I like drama
of the minority.
Yeah.
But at the same token, people don't pay. I recall there was a game in which McGuire was up at bat and he got called out for a strike or something, and he got ejected. And the whole stadium went ballistic to the point where Jack Buck had to rest in peace. Right. He had to have an announcement a day after or the same game. You recall what I'm talking about?
Vaguely, but I mean, I can see this happening with the chaos that would ensue.
So, my thing is, it's exciting to see, the whole Lou Piniella throwing a bag out to the field.
Man, Bobby Cox.
Right, Bobby Cox. But at the same token, we still want to get, the calls right.
I agree. Yeah.
Look at every night. It's like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, though, where we both seen that video on Twitter. They showed the ball league. They showed a video of the ball like nicking, it was like a seam nicking the corner of the strike zone, and that was considered a strike. I would be a little upset as a fan and as a batter watching that.
Right. Talking about the robot umpire.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, it's fun to see, how they argue with guys, but at the same token, fans want to see guys play and not get ejected. I don't want to pay $70, $80 and get.
No, I agree with the ejection part. Yeah,
seats in the green seats right behind home plate.
Right.
I'm here. Hi, I'm on TV, and I see Pujols get ejected because of a terrible call.
No, I don't want to see nobody get ejected, but I do want to see the drama involved with somebody getting mad and the players and the bench clearing and all this and that, and then now it's an instant rivalry all of a sudden.
I think they should dress the umpires up like RoboCop, because it's the robot.
There you go.
And then each team.
There's a bunch of Lieutenant Murphys out there.
Yeah, okay. I would say each team could be in charge of creatively making the outfit, or I guess the machinery or whatever around the robot ump, and whoever's the most creative.
So if you knock his little umpire head off, it's all robot stuff on top of his head.
Right.
I like that.
Real quick, SLU did defeat George Washington.
Okay.
Yeah, so, George Washington, go back to Virginia, D.C., or wherever y'all from on the East Coast.
So, shouts out to him. I guess we'll stick with baseball.
Okay.
Wait, you know the score?
Nah. You know what? I had it. Here we go. 63-58.
Okay.
So there we go.
Bam!
I got you.
Right.
Thank you.
No problem. Right here on the platform.
But who's the score?
Show.
There you go.
While we're doing Joe Knows, we're getting breaking news right now.
Right.
All right. So we'll stick with baseball.
All right.
Your thoughts on the 2018 or 19, excuse me, Cardinal season?
Are you talking to me or Joe?
You.
And you're talking about last season, the 19 season. I mean, it was important for them to make the playoffs. The Cardinals have not made the playoffs in 3 years, and in the two wild card era, that is a long duration of time for a team that is in the top 10 in money spent and has a pretty good farm system. If they hadn't made the playoffs this past year, I don't know if there would have been a firing, but there definitely would have been harsh things coming off my fingers. I mean, there were even after the third year they missed in a row in the whole thing. Very impressive pitching, very impressive defense, base running. There are a lot of holes on this team, and it's led to so much consternation this offseason in regards to third base and left field, and even center field. Dylan Carlson probably will be a pretty good pro. How soon will that happen? And do you stunt some of his growth by having him skip a step and not do a full season or half season at AAA?
The whole Chris Bryant thing.
Sure, yeah. Of course, with the contract as well. I just meant because he's only had 70 plus at bats in AAA. And maybe it could actually help him to have 300 or 400. We'll see. There are a lot of questions going into this season, and you don't often have that with a team that made it to the Final Four in baseball. Mm-hmm. A lot of questions like that.
And with the success that they had last season, yes, they did go to the NLDS. Yes, they went to the NLCS. But it wasn't like they took over the last month and won that division. They had a great series, and matter of fact, I went to the Corner of the Cubs game.
You were there?
In which Yachty hit the home run and then DeYoung hit the home run.
Oh man, yeah.
I was there. My first game ever. My first game ever at Cubs as a big field.
Wow,
great experience. Shouts out to Chicago.
Yeah.
But then they went to Arizona, lost 3 out of 4. Mm-hmm. Then you came home and lost 3 out of 4 or 2 out of 3 to
it took till the last day.
So like I said, it wasn't like we went into the playoffs like. Yeah, we came in strong. We ended the season off strong. So a lot of people are happy that we won the division, but it wasn't like we took over that last minute, and then it showed in its ugly, the ugliest form possible. It showed in the NLCS that, as I said before about the whole Pujols thing, and Joe, please add on if you like, and when I get done, but you have a lot of guys who are complimentary players, but not that I'm that guy, I got you, get on my back. Or you knew the whole season, especially starting in May, that you had a lot of guys who strike out a whole lot.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? I talked about this before. We brought up Piscotty, the Gritchicks, now the Tyler O'Neills, the Harrison Baders. The guys who was killing it in the minor leagues, but they always had that rep of they couldn't always make contact.
Right.
And then
Last swings and misses.
then you expect for them to go to the major leagues, and all of a sudden they're contact hitters.
Right.
Something is going on with the way that the Cardinals are evaluating talent and bringing up the right guys on this team. Am I right or am I wrong?
Well, I mean, you're right in the sense of they put a lot of stock into Piscotty and Grichuk, and both of those guys didn't work out here. Now, I mean, both of those guys had, if you look at their numbers last season, it wasn't a bad 2019 for in a different uniform, of course.
Right.
Clearly, the Cardinals developed starting pitching well, relief pitching, etc. We're going to see, and there's a lot of stress, and understandably so, being put on Mike Schilt to make the right decisions with the outfield, because you currently have guys that put up big numbers in the minor leagues: Randy Arozarena, Lane Thomas.
I'll bring him up.
Yeah, that was our boy right there.
Yeah.
Man.
So you got him. You got Lane Thomas, Tyler O'Neill, and Dylan Carlson, and then Bader too. I mean, all those guys could make a case to start for the St. Louis Cardinals. You got Dexter and Wright. We'll see what happens in left. But my point is, like, is he going to pick the right guy? Is he going to press the right button? And if he doesn't, it could come back to bite this team, regardless of how weak or strong the division is.
Right. Joe, did you have a question in regards to the Cardinals, to Ben or to us?
What kind of question about the outfielders?
Anything.
Right. Anything.
I don't know. Me and you. This is a stupid question, just because.
There are no stupid questions.
Just stupid people.
Hey, Joe, I'm on your side. You on the spot. I understand.
Well, no, I'm only asking it only because Addison Rockman's on, and he talks to these people. But it's a stupid question just because it's a typical, like, fantasy baseball, and me and Fred talked about it at work. Let's talk about Nolan.
Nolan Arenado.
Yes.
Sure.
Mr. Nolan.
I mean, it's a hot topic in town. It's. I mean, and coincidentally, of all reporters to be talking to right now, I used to be in Denver.
Right.
I wrote about Nolan Arenado. I got to know him a little bit, covering him, and he's one of the most amazing baseball players I've ever seen. And I don't think that's hyperbole. Okay, so the question is, what would you give up? What would you be willing to give up? And everybody's got a different answer. And from the Cardinals, it's a value standpoint. I mean, everything about baseball is value and predicted value. Mm-hmm. What it has nothing to do with what you already did. Right. And that was a different way. The way we looked at it as a kid. It was like, oh, wait, he had 30 home runs the last 3 years. Well, maybe he'll hit 30 home runs the next 3 years. Right. But clearly not it. So, yeah, when you look at Nolan Arenado, like, I remember it was Mike Gersh, the general manager, who made reference to this kind of gross, but like a puke point. Like, what players are you willing to give up where you feel like you're going to throw up when you make the trade offer, right, but don't? And so, I mean, who is it? What is it? I mean, and of course, we name those 5 outfielders besides Dylan. I mean, first of all, does this trade involve Dylan Carlson? He's not going to go. Does the trade involve Nolan Gorman? Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got Nolan Gorman. How good of starting pitchers are you throwing in this? Are you putting in Hudson?
Dakota Hudson?
Right. I mean, are you willing to do Hudson and Gorman and O'Neill? I mean, we could do this all day. The question is, a very gross question to anybody, let alone a woman, since I'm a gentleman, but what is your puke point?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing.
Is it like Jeff Passan, is it legit that the Cubs and the Cardinals, those were the teams that the Rockies were intrigued in? Like, I kind of just find it hard to believe. Like, I know we got some young talented pitchers and a lot of young talented outfielders. Like, what do the Cubs have? They have a lot of people that are going to start. They're going to start for you on opening day. They don't have prospects. Right.
No, that's true, and I can't really speak from the Cubs angle, because some of their top prospects are going to be in their lineup next year.
Right.
I don't know how they got Jose Quintana, because they gave up nothing for him. Like, that's how I kind of feel about the whole. If they were to get Nolan, they would give up nothing, and then all of us in St. Louis would be upset because we feel like we could have given up better.
Right, yeah. And it's easy to. I don't know. Like I don't trade Carlson, but I'm fine with looking into this trade. I'm fine with being aggressive about this, especially because you're on the cusp right now, and especially because you're so confident in your young pitchers coming through your system. I'm not saying they definitely have another Dakota, but they have guys they like that Jake Woodford guy. You know, they the Thompson guy. There's other young pitchers who are the next big thing. Again, it's funny because we could throw names all day, but it really just comes down to like making a list, breaking down predicted WAR, breaking down predicted OPS, ERA, whatever stat you use, and saying, are you willing to give this up? And you got to know that the Cardinals have done this and will continue to do this because they've seen Nolan Arenado play baseball too, and he's pretty fun to watch.
Yeah. And also, over the last few years, it looks like the Cardinals are, I don't want to say scared, but they are scared because of failed production over the last few years, signing certain guys like the Mike Leaks, the Dexter Fowlers, not being able to get the Jason Haywards. Yeah. And you see what's going on with Brett Cecil. You know, it looks like the Cardinals are scared to make that big, bold move. I know that they got Goldschmidt last year. Great opportunity to get him. Mm-hmm. He fell in love before he became to St. Louis. Right. He fell in love. I really hope that they don't get shy and are trying to acquire Arenado because this is the perfect time to make the move because we just won the NLCS. Mm-hmm. You realize that you cannot bring this same exact lineup back to this next season and expect for us to do better.
Got to make that move.
You got to. And then this will also like put that. I'm really big on putting that foot on the opponent's neck and keeping it there.
Sure.
Getting Arenado would do that. You know, we were known back in the day during the La Russa years and Jockey and early Mozeliak in which teams hated us because we always knew how to make that right move.
Then you get Larry Walker.
That and also
Matt
that and also we knew about that Devil's Magic, being able to bring up guys that no one knew about, and all of a sudden,
and the Redbirds,
you know what I'm saying, they were big time. Look at what Jared Reaver did for the Cardinals and Jason Marquis and Anthony Reyes. You know, certain guys that we brought through the system, the John Jays, David Freese, Descalzo for a minute. You know, Schumacher, played for center field, went to second base. But going back to now, this is the prime opportunity for the Cardinals to make a big splashy move that will intimidate the rest of the division. And the Cubs looks like. And I know Rick is probably still watching. He's a big Cubs fan.
Hit him, man. I'm tired of Chicago from this dude, man. Even though he's a Jayhawks fan.
Right. It looks like, especially with them getting tip of the tongue. What's the name? The manager now. David Ross. It looks like they could be taking a step back.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, like they're realizing that their playoff championship window may be going away.
Yeah, it might have closed. Yeah.
The Brewers haven't done a whole lot either.
Right.
Not yet.
The Pirates are the Pirates. Sorry, Andy Greer.
She know what it is.
But there is one team outside the Cardinals that's all of a sudden making some moves that could scare some people, and that's the Reds.
Yep.
And they could possibly still get Ozuna, even though they got the Japanese players.
Yeah.
But they're making moves too. This is the perfect opportunity for the Cardinals to go ahead and have that stranglehold. And can you imagine having Arenado along with Gold Glover DeYoung, Gold Glover Goldschmidt, a future Gold Glover, and DeYoung?
Yeah. No, I mean, it would.
We have the best defensive infield in all of baseball.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, I think everyone's in agreement that if Nolan showed up tomorrow wearing a Cardinals uniform, the Cardinals would be really, really good.
Yeah. Right.
And then the question is, how does that affect the 2022 Cardinals, the 2024 Cardinals? And it's funny because a lot of the decisions that were made a few years ago were about how will it affect the 2020 Cardinals, and here we are. Again, I'm all for doing whatever you can to get one of the best players of his generation. But before you squeeze the trigger, or better analogy, or whatever it is, make sure you're not just doing it because of past production.
Yeah. And that's one.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't say that you were starstruck by Nolan Arenado.
Oh, yeah. No, throw him in there. Yeah, no.
I watched that. He breathes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Nolan Arenado.
I'll never forget watching on TV, and coincidentally, I wrote a book last year with Drew Goodman, who's the Rockies' Dan McLaughlin. He's their broadcaster, and we wrote a book about Rockies history. It was a cool experience, and there's a lot of Nolan Arenado in there. And I'll never forget watching the game live, where there was a foul ball, and Arenado basically catches it on top of the tarp.
Yeah.
And it was
in San Fran, wasn't it?
Yep, in San Fran. And then it was already a classic catch. He almost darn near threw the guy out at third base. But nevertheless, it was one of the coolest plays I've ever seen, one of the gutsiest plays. I mean, he threw his body like a linebacker into the tarp to make a catch. He is one of a kind.
Yeah. Once again,
I wouldn't did it in Ricky, though.
Sorry about that, y'all. Once again, this is the Platform Sports Talk Show. Right now, this is Joe Knows. We got my co-worker holding things down on the line, Joe. Talking about the Cardinal baseball right now. In regards to St. Louis Cardinals overall, has Mike Shildt, with the success of him being manager of the year, has he now brought back St. Louis Cardinals as being that premier destination for free agents?
Well, that's a good question.
Yes,
Yeah, I mean, who's the free agent, right? If the idea is, has he created a culture that is a winning and enticing culture to free agents, whoever this guy may be? And right now, the only free agent they got is the guy that didn't even play in the major leagues last year, which is, you could say which is fine. I don't think they're going to get Rendon or whomever. But to your question, I'm very fascinated and very pleased by what Mike Shildt has done in regards to creating a culture. And because he has tenets of a culture, he says, we will be good base runners. We will be good defensive players. We will be smart players. And apparently he also says we will swing at sliders and miss them all the time.
Oh, my God.
All the time.
Especially Bader.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, listen, Paul DeYoung, you could throw stuff in the dirt, he'll swing, and then if you throw up at his ears, above his shoulders,
swing at it
every night. Swing and miss, every night.
162. Paul DeYoung, after April, I believe, hit 201.
It was terrible.
It was from May 1st on. His batting average was 201.
He had one of the worst batting averages, or with men in scoring position, he had one of the worst averages in all of baseball.
And Bader was probably right near there.
And then to find out that he admitted it, that he has like a mental block or issue, anxiety, when he has men in scoring position. That's not good if you're supposed to be.
You definitely don't admit that.
No.
Yeah, but today's baseball, he hit 30 home runs, so he's good to go.
That's all good.
Right.
Yeah, and he has a good glove. Yeah, it is funny though. If you said any other year, we're going to give you a shortstop that has 30 home runs and a Gold Glove finalist, you're like, oh, he could have batting average of 100. I'll take it. But here we are complaining.
Yeah. Exactly.
But sometimes we get in these discussions and we forget, like, oh, you're talking about a team that won the NL Central and made it in baseball's Final Four. Like, things are good again. They think about how they were a couple years ago, or think about how they are in Baltimore or Pittsburgh.
The Mike Shildt that we saw after Game 5 of the NLCS, is that the Mike Shildt that you saw, every day in the clubhouse, or when you were there? Was that the Mike Shildt that you saw more than what we see outside of the Atlanta post game?
Well, he does a good job of not cursing in front of the media. So no, I never. So to see that many F-bombs and curse words in that short a period of time from someone who I'd spent so much time around and never seen it was quite astounding. But that guy, that video that we saw sums up the passion that is Mike Shildt. We talked about this earlier with Coach Drinkwitz. He hasn't won a game yet in Columbia, but he's sure shown how much he cares already. And Mike Shildt cares. Mike Schultz, his life is baseball. His lifeblood are these players. And he cares so much, and we saw it in that speech after they won a huge game, one of the biggest games of the decade for the Cardinals.
Hey, if I was a free agent and I seen Mike Schultz on Randy A's Instagram story, I would have been like, of course, give me to St. Louis now.
Yeah, I want to play for that
fired
guy.
Up.
Right.
And the reason why I asked about is a destination because we know that year when Giancarlo Stanton, he was trying to choose a team or whatever. He wanted to go to the Yankees, etc. And he said, "No, I don't want to go to St. Louis.
Right.
I don't want to go to San Fran." I feel like it was because of the culture or lack of culture that Matheny had during that time frame. So that's why I want to ask you, do you think now if he was in that position after seeing the Cardinals going to the NLCS, could he have been that?
That's a fun question. I mean, I still think, like, even though we can say all the stuff about Matheny, say all the stuff about differences with younger players and older players and what have you, I think Stanton wasn't trying to shoot down St. Louis as much as he was trying to go to New York. And St. Louis just happened to be in the way in that scenario. But you do make, this would be great if we could get like truth serum and talk to Stanton right now and say, hey, what's changed with the Cardinals? It'd be cool to get a perception like that.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Once again, this is Joe Knows. We are, we're knee deep into some great conversation. Once again, this show will be extended further than we imagined, but because we don't often have a guest like Ben Hockman in the building.
Oh, you have guests normally with better hair. I keep looking at this video of me and my part. Oh my God! I hope my barber's not watching.
He like,
I guess he is watching. He wants business.
I told him to cut them ends.
right.
But this has been great. We have a whole lot more, so I hope that y'all are enjoying. Once again, share. Going back to the Cardinals, for me, I was a big fan and still is in regards to Randy Arozarena.
Yeah, me too.
He was a very hot button topic throughout the season. He's proven throughout the season that he can consistently get on base, not strike out all the time, plus arm, incredible speed. Then they bring up Tommy Edman. We always like, what? Huh? And Mike Schultz stuck with him, no matter if he had a bad game, whatever. But more times than not, he had great games. He stuck with him. Mm-hmm. Then he brought Arozarena in, and he only plays he starts 2 games out of the next few weeks. I feel like that was a mistake. How come Arozarena didn't get the same opportunities that Edman had? That he can get more at-bats, more acclimated to the big leagues, and he could have taken the spot of Harrison Bader.
Great questions. I think with Edman, the difference is he was able to play multiple positions. So and he really did start out hitting
infield and outfield.
Yeah, and he started out hitting extremely well.
Right.
Not just good, but like extremely well. So those were the 2 enticing things. I too was saying, we remember the lead up to the call up of Arozarena,
right?
And how all of
Randy up to the day,
right? He had a hashtag and everything.
Everybody, and it's like these numbers are sparkling, and I know all the offense is up in AAA, but man, let's get this guy a chance. And for the center field position for St. Louis, for a team that is priding itself in 2019 on defense and run prevention, it's hard to say we're going to put possibly the best center fielder alive, or at least in our league, on the bench when he's out there literally defending and saving runs with his defense. I can't speak to every Schultz. Schultz not going to give all of his thoughts to the media and the fans, and we can't get all of them out of it. But gosh, yes, I would hope that heading into this year, and they are, because I've asked general managers and execs about this, they're going to give Randy a clear shot to compete, to be the starting center fielder, which is all he can ask for. And frankly, I'm pretty optimistic about the guy because remember when you were doing that chant, we were doing it for a reason. Fans were doing it for a reason. Those numbers were pretty good.
And, that's my thing is, and I know baseball can be about politics or whatever it is, but at the same token, you're about trying to win a championship. And I'm pretty sure other people have heard it already on other sports talk shows, but it's all about play your best players over playing contracts.
Right.
If Schilt does that, and like you said, guys are coming out there spring training, and you're playing players and talent over contracts, I think that we'll have a successful season going into, the new year.
That'd be awesome.
Like I said,
I absolutely feel that.
I said 2 weeks ago, I think Schultz done a better job at that than Matheny has. Like, even when Carpenter was somewhat healthy, he still played Edmund over him, So I think Schultz did a better job at that than Matheny showed in the past.
Yeah, no question. And then we saw, and we were talking about coaching college basketball earlier in the show, the idea of the mental aspect of it. And Colton Wong's just one player, but the way Schultz has managed Wong has been very impressive because we've seen such great strides from Colton Wong compared to when he played for Mike Matheny.
Yeah. And same thing.
And baseball is such a mental sport. Like I mentioned on here before, I played softball up until college, and it's literally just such a mental sport. Whether the coach puts you in the 3 spot or in the 6 spot, vice versa, whatever. Like, everything's so mental about baseball. So for Colton Wong, I think that's mainly what it was whenever Matheny was his manager. If you didn't play him, and it's repetition as well. So you can't just play one guy 2 times a week out of 7 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I think cause we Joe and I discussed this earlier about the Arenado and who they would trade, which I feel like Matt Carpenter would be a great candidate because he loves Colorado.
Yeah.
And all those big pop-ups he had in St. Louis would probably be home runs or doubles in Colorado.
Short field, yeah.
And then Fowler, he's finally found a home in regards to he has security because he has the guy Mike Schilt. Right. He didn't have it. We all know he didn't have that with Matheny at all.
Right.
But he finally is comfortable. He has a home that he just got built last year, 2 years ago. He finally feel like he belongs.
Yeah.
And he saw to show that in the second half of the season last year. Playoffs, he didn't show up at all, along with other guys. But I feel like if they were to acquire Arenado, that Carpenter would be the better guy to trade away because he loves Colorado, and his game would be better suited for the Rockies if he did play for them. But going back to the Cardinals, I just really feel like I really feel like just playing talent over contract. If Lane Thomas is outperforming Fowler or Rosarena is outperforming Bader, let them guys play. That was part of my what was the segment called?
Final say.
Yeah, final say.
Yeah.
Let these youngsters play, and not just playing for 2 games and then no.
Exactly.
If they play into a spot in which, you can tell they lost. You had your run.
Right.
But give these guys a chance. Stop worrying about the contract. He's been paid for 7 years and $40 million. If he's not producing for your team and not getting us to the point where we need to be, then it's a grown man's league.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Start making grown man decisions. For instance, Yadier Molina. We know these last few years he's taking time out because of old age and these nagging injuries. Yeah. You can't continue to keep playing him every game because he says so, but then you're wasting Andrew Kisner or Matt Wieters. He had a great little stretch when he played.
And catcher, the most physical position in baseball.
But then when Yadi came back, of course, Wieters only played like maybe once every other week.
Mm-hmm.
But when Yadi came back, how good of a stretch were our pitchers going?
Right.
That is true, but at the same token, when Wieters took over, that was one of our best stretches of the season when we just held things down too. So it was a big, a big gap in regards to production from our pitchers. He was productive at the plate. He was doing his thing. There were stretches in which Yachty, he had little bits of balls that was going past him that normally wouldn't go past him.
Yeah, it did happen a couple times.
It's a small little thing. Not saying he shouldn't be playing, all the time, but don't treat him like he's still 25 years old, Yachty.
That's a very fascinating storyline with the Cardinals every year, because Yadier is treated differently and is different than most Major League ball players. A lot of guys, hell, in basketball, we talk about load management. Players are saying, I know I need to skip a game because it will help me in the playoffs.
A lot longer, yeah.
But Yadier is the opposite. He is cut from a certain cloth that says, I will play every inning of every game. And he famously put on Instagram, I'm preparing for whatever the number was. Right. It was the amount of games plus the All-Star game plus wins in the playoffs.
Right.
And that's his mindset, and it's worked, right? I mean, he's had arguably a Hall of Fame career, and he is clearly a very vocal and powerful presence around that team. So it's like, do you rattle Yachty? Do you make a decision to rattle Yachty, or you just ride that through? And if Andrew Kisner is not getting at bats, like, we'll worry about catcher another time.
But people don't even think about this, but offensively, Carson Kelly had a better offensive year than Yadier Molina did last year.
But you don't rattle the backbone, though.
Arizona.
Yeah. But, I mean, he
I know they changed their humidity or whatever in their ballpark, but it's still Arizona, and he plays however many games in Colorado a year.
Yeah.
Most stadiums in the West are hitters' parks. I'm a huge Yachty fan. You know this already, obviously.
Right.
He's our captain. He's our Alex Petrangelo, whatever you want to call him. But I still love Yachty. Until the contract's up, I say play him majority of the time. Once that's over with, I don't think we should re-sign him because, I mean, even though he's proved us wrong year and year again with his age, obviously, because he's still producing, I think we can't give up another top prospect catcher to get someone and then have Yachty play till he's 45. Like, I really like Kisner.
Yeah.
I told you this at work, how he bats, and I think his offensive, he's like a Troy Tulowitzki type batting stance. That's who he reminds me of at the plate. But I think he's going to be really good. So I would be really upset if we traded him, but obviously I love Yachty.
And we can't continue to stunt the growth of our future prospects like the Carson Kellys at the time and now Andrew Kisner. Evan Lewis, another co-worker of mine, who sits actually to the right of Joe at the job. He says, "What's y'all thoughts on Carlos Martinez?"
Ooh,
overrated.
He needs to stay in the bullpen.
You stay in the bullpen. You say, I mean, for me, I
think he was dominant in the bullpen.
Me too.
So I mean, unless you trade Dakota Hudson to the Rockies, if that does happen in our fantasies,
right,
then I think you should stay in the bullpen and just put KK in the rotation and see what he looks like.
I want Carlos as a starter. I want to see everything. I want him to try to do everything he can to be a starter because I think his ceiling is higher than KK's if he's healthy, if he's the Carlos we know. But whatever I say here isn't going to matter if he doesn't show up the way he should.
And that was my issue.
And that's why they got KK, or that's why they would have gotten another valuable piece.
Well, he's like the whole Ozuna thing. Like, if we re-signed Ozuna and that was our only like offensive move of the year, I'd be a little upset because Ozuna and Carlos, I wouldn't say they didn't show us anything this year because obviously Carlos was dominant out of the bullpen, and Ozuna, even being hurt most of the year, he had a great year as well.
Mm-hmm.
But their off season and going into spring training, they didn't show us that they really cared that much, and that as a fan or as a diehard fan, that doesn't make you feel good. Like, I know Carlos has been posting his Instagram stories of him working out in the Dominican, but like, if you're going to come back to spring training and you're going to go get an X-ray or MRI and you're hurt and you're going to be out for months, that doesn't make me feel good.
Right.
So, and he was dominant in the bullpen. And when does Hicks come back? July.
Man.
Yeah.
And
but,
and also
so like
you have the possibility
you have to have
of
at
Reyes
least someone in there.
And I'm
All
sorry,
right, me and my husband talk about this all the time. I don't want to hear about Alex Reyes until it's 100%. I don't want to hear about it, okay?
Until he's throwing a pitch in the game.
We spent 4 years of our life
oh my God.
excited about Alex Reyes, and then he gets hurt every time. So I would be okay if Reyes is going to be talked about, throw him in the bullpen. I don't want to hear about Alex Reyes.
And going back to Brett Cecil, is he done as the Cardinal?
Well, they're gonna, I say give him a shot, but they're gonna see it through. I think at camp. But I mean, the money is. I mean,
Money
talks. I mean, money. You don't just throw it away. I think they'll see. This is simple as they'll see what he has in spring training, but they're not gonna play him because of his contract if they don't feel confident in him. And I've written one of my favorite lines was that he was doing so poorly that Cecil Whitakers was so embarrassed. they now just go by Whitakers.
Right. No more Cecil.
Yeah, we don't want to be associated with Cecil.
I was excited when we got Cecil because he was really good for the Blue Jays, and in that division, that was exciting. And then coming to our division, I feel like he could have been dominant like he was in the East, but obviously he proved me and I'm assuming some other people wrong. I want the best for him, but I would like to say that last year not seeing his name in the bullpen made me happy a little bit.
Yeah. All right, so
that
was the baseball talk. Once again, this has been an incredible show with Ben Hockman.
Yeah.
We usually have other subjects in regards to like the NFL and everything else. But tonight we're gonna do a little something different. So for those who are watching outside St. Louis, we're sorry. Next week we'll get back into it. Last thing we'll talk about with Ben is of course your reigning, defending world champion St. Louis Blues.
Man, speaking of that, before you get into that, man, I dropped the ball.
Oh.
So Quick Trip got a sparkling cider with the Blues logo on, the championship Blues logo on it.
Yeah.
And I forgot to get it today. That's what the whole purpose of me going there for today was.
Oh.
And I forgot to get it.
Is it the last day of it, or can you go tomorrow?
No, I mean, you can still go. I mean, but they got it up front. It's like $30 just for sparkling cider. But it's a gold Blues championship logo on it on any
Get it.
We got the wine. We're waiting to pop it for back to back.
Right, there you go. See, that's what I'm saying. I wasn't even going to pop it. It was just for atmosphere. I was going to put it on the table right here.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do it for Ben. And I dropped the ball, so now Ben going to see the next show and it's going to be on there. He could be like, damn, man, what happened?
Right.
So, yeah, I dropped the ball. I'm sorry, Ben.
I'm offended.
I would be too. So I was rushing from work and I forgot. I just thought about that right when you brought it up. Like, damn.
And Joe, like I said on your post a while back, we have to do a show from your new den or she what do you call it? She or something.
Oh man, ain't long they don't burn down the she.
I don't call it that. I'm a nerd. I like comic books and whatnot. So, and I like to do puzzles. So I sit here with my little comic book room with my little action figures, watch TV, games, and it's calming. But yeah, I'd be okay with that.
You should connect with Post-Dispatch writer Derek Gould on Twitter. He's a huge comic book guy.
I see that he's a Star Wars fan like me. I like that.
Yeah, you should reach out to him on there. Tell him I said you guys should connect because you guys have a lot of similar interests.
Right. Speaking of Star Wars new movies,
this room's nothing but just I got this little Funko Pops and action figures and comic books. So I'm a little nerd, but. Yeah, this is my little spot. My husband has the whole basement to himself, and I got this.
Should.
Right. All right, so real quick, in regards to the Blues, let's talk about Tom Stillman, the impact that he has had in Louis.
Incredible, right? Here's a guy who grew up loving hockey. Here's a guy who invested in a team financially and emotionally, and even when they hadn't won the cup yet, he was still beloved by the fans for his passion and such. And how rewarded was he by his team winning the Stanley Cup. I mean, that was one of the, I say this and like I don't like hyperbole a lot. I like to call people out for it, but like that being said, I don't think this is hyperbole when I say the Blues Stanley Cup run from literally the fewest points in the NHL on January 3rd to winning the cup with the fourth-string goalie who had never started a game, et cetera, et cetera. It's one of the greatest stories in sports history.
Yep.
In team sports history. And Tom Stillman was the chairman of that.
Yeah. And for what
I remember seeing.
go ahead, Joe.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say a couple of years ago when we had the Winter Classic here, me and my husband were at the game where they showed the video announcing that we got not the All-Star game but the Winter Classic, and just seeing him on the ice with DeWitt, that was awesome. And then just I can't remember who it was. It might have been the Blues that posted it on Twitter about a month ago. Just seeing the picture of Stillman holding the cup, he just looks so dang happy, and he's like, even after everyone that I've known, like aunts and uncles that have been Blues fans and that made me into Blues fans, he's like that number one guy I was so happy for. Because you can just tell he loves St. Louis, he loves the Blues. And it's not just for the money, he just literally just passionately loves this team.
Yeah.
And to add on, Bunny, and we should be back on our show on the 5th of February. She says Stillman is the unsung hero of the Blues. And he's also done so much for the Enterprise Center, making the renovations.
Yeah.
Now you bring it in. I know that there's a big gymnastics event coming in town. You got the All-Star game, as Joe brought up earlier, which that should be an incredible event.
Yeah.
He's made the Enterprise Center to be one of those top-tier arenas now.
Yep.
Because, I mean, the stadium arena looks amazing.
No question.
For what they have done. So, really big shout-out to him. I think I asked you last week in regards, we have a segment called Is This Your Leader? Have you seen Black Panther movie?
Oh my God, this is gonna be embarrassing.
Oh no, you haven't seen it. You haven't seen it?
I know Joe said it.
I've not seen. I want to. It's on my list. It's on my list of movies I need to see.
Okay.
I've also never seen Die Hard.
What?
That's what I'm saying. There's a few like obvious classics that I've not
Social
seen.
media roaster right now.
Right.
Now, okay, so
we got to get big in the theater.
There's a scene in which Killmonger, which was portrayed by
villain,
Michael Jordan, not
Michael B.
not Air Jordan, but B. Jordan.
Yeah.
He was letting everybody know doing this fight scene when he was beating up at the time Prince. I forgot his name.
Fielder?
T'Challa.
Yeah, Prince T'Challa.
Harry.
Right. Harry Potter. He was like, is this your king? Is this who y'all represent? Whatever.
Right.
Oh wow, he's beating him up.
Right.
Yeah.
He was turning him up too, man. You gotta see it.
We have a segment called "Is This Your Leader?"
Okay.
So we pin two people to see who do you feel if you were down the trenches and you trying to have that leader to lead you along the way. Who would you want to be your leader?
My leader.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Are you talking about in St. Louis or just hockey?
period.
Well,
So-
last week was St. Louis. though.
right. Yeah. So
Last
so-
week was St. Louis.
Right. So I asked the guys, Brian last week, I said, Tom Stillman or Bill DeWitt.
Oh, I mean, they're both very like just. I guess here's what I'm trying to say. And I was with name dropping, but I was with Bill DeWitt today, and just because he's not a loud Mark Cuban type owner, doesn't mean he doesn't have the passion to win. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, and hockey has a salary cap, right? So if they didn't have the salary cap, would we be complaining about Stillman the way we complain about DeWitt not spending or what have you? I guess what I'm getting at is like you can care about something and not and show it different ways.
Right.
But that said, one of those men is coming off a championship, so I'll take Stillman.
There you go. Right.
Perfect. Because
I said all that to say.
I chose Stillman too because I feel like
Right.
when he knew that something was needed, he did it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like Bill DeWitt is a product of he's had so much success so he doesn't have to.
What a great problem to have.
Exactly.
I've been so successful as an owner for so long.
So it's pretty much, are you about, okay, you're a product of having so much success, maybe not winning every year like a championship, but because you're there in the playoffs, or is it about
taking something out of nothing?
Right, you know what I'm saying, making that change, making it updating the arena, letting Armstrong.
Well, that's the difference between the Blues and the Cardinals. Honestly, like the Cardinals, they're just that team. They win, you know. And even the 3-year drought that we had, that was miserable for us. You know, like that was like the Cubs not winning. You know, for all those years. Yeah, that's literally what the 3-year drought felt like. The Blues, like, we're coming off that championship, and it felt like 108 years. Like, obviously, in hockey years, it was equivalent to that because, the season's so freaking short compared to baseball. But, yeah, I don't know. You'd have to go Stillman right now just because of what we all just experienced. And, honestly, I don't even know if I'm even down from the high yet. Like, I really don't know. We got an inflatable Stanley Cup in our room, and randomly we'll just pick it up and kiss it because
it's awesome.
I still can't believe it.
Yeah.
We actually had a show the night that the Blues won.
Yeah.
Come on.
We broadcasted, we did like an after show.
Really?
And we broadcasted ourselves watching
cool.
Game 7.
Oh, I got to look that up. That's great.
Where were you when the Blues won the championship?
I was at the game. I was.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Dude, big time, man. You ain't figured it out. Like, stop playing.
Yeah.
Probably next to the owner.
Right. So the vibe, the ambiance of being there. What was your thoughts?
I mean, I don't think I'll ever cover a cooler thing in my life. I can't imagine Game 7. And so we're in the hockey press box, which is actually the highest seat, and that's where all the hockey, like even Armstrong and the players that weren't playing, they were all up there too. Like that's the way hockey culture is. That you're up there high up, and it was so much fun because I got to watch right away. I got to watch Bernie Federko and Plager celebrate like instantly winning it because we were all up there, and then going down on the ice, and I tried to capture it in my column that night, just like you're standing on the ice and everywhere you looked there was just joy. There was just this bliss, this perpetual bliss. You look to your left and there's Binnington and his dad lifting the Stanley Cup. You look to the right and there's O'Reilly kissing his wife, and you look, there's Layla with Parayko, and there's Pat Maroon and his son, and I mean, just everywhere you looked was just this amazingness, and for me to be able to have access to that and to be able to document it for the fans is a very, very it was an honor, and it was a humbling experience.
Right.
And just to hear it,
I'm like getting teary-eyed listening to that.
and just to hear Doc
I cannot imagine.
Right. I mean, just being there and seeing that, and then doing it of all places in Boston too.
Oh, I know. Well, amazing, right?
Home of the Cheetahs.
Woo! Right.
And going back to what I was gonna say earlier, just to be a part of that is definitely special. But thoughts on the parade as well.
Well, it's 1A, right, to 1. I mean, that I haven't been to many championship parades. I don't know how many you guys have gotten to experience. I think that was literally my first one ever. And I can't imagine it being topped because the way it was explained to me is like that doesn't happen at other parades where the team interacts with the fans so much. And I had the pleasure, the honor of walking with Pietrangelo. And I even posted a video the other day. It's just stupidly surreal. I'm like, we're turning on Market Street. I'm standing there on the parade route with the Clydesdales and Pietrangelo and his wife are on the top of the Clydesdales thing with the Stanley Cup. And the fans are going nuts, and my chill bumps are going. I mean, it was just the coolest thing ever. And then to watch it organically happen, where Pietrangelo hops down, I believe he gave the cup to Tarasenko, and then Tarasenko went, or I think then they went over to the fans. And next thing you know, like how many thousands of fans got to touch the Stanley Cup that day, and how many thousands of fans got high fives from their heroes, and the other thing I heard, and I don't know if you guys were at the parade or not, but I heard that it was such a cool, almost like a Woodstock vibe where everyone was so nice.
I think Stan said that he was there.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
Yeah, Stan.
Yeah, we went down there, and we got there a couple hours, like literally like 3 or 4 hours early, and we were rose deep, honestly.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of sat there for a little bit just to like enjoy the environment, and then we went straight to the arch grounds.
Nice, good move.
We were so far back, like Woodstock. That's literally a great example of Woodstock because it was incredible. It was like gloomy that day and everything. Like I'd been to the 06 and the 11 parade for the Cardinals. I've been to the All-Star Game parade when they were here. All that was amazing, but I honestly don't think anything's ever going to beat. Like I didn't even get to see the cup, but I didn't even get to touch the cup. But the environment down there was just amazing.
Yeah, it was just one of a kind. I mean, we're talking about stars aligning. I mean, I read this the other day. Like, even if the Blues last year had been the best, they had been the Tampa Bay Lightning, had been the best team in hockey all year. President's Trophy, and they still win the Stanley Cup. It's the hugest story ever because the franchise had never won.
Right.
Never won.
Right.
The fact that they did it the way they did it just turns it into a script that smart Hollywood execs would be like, this is too preposterous.
The movie got to be in the working. Right?
Yeah, I almost wonder if like the movie's like too absurd. Right. We were literally in last place, and we put in this no name, and we started listening to this.
A 10-year gap before they can even start writing.
Yeah, we picked this 1980
song. It was miserable,
song.
but it made it 10 times better at the end.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I missed that parade, man. I went to the 2012 Cardinals parade, and like I told you before, that's the first time I seen guys drinking on top of a cop car.
Yeah.
What the city don't care no more. Like it's like whatever y'all want to do, it is what it is.
That was the best of all the images. Is Robert Thomas, age 19, in the parade, just next to a cop.
Exactly. Like it ain't no rules right now, man.
Yeah, Sanford throwing up. Just no laws.
That's crazy, man.
Bennington riding on a little motorcycle and playing the drums. Everything about it was just amazing.
Right.
I was amazed at how skinny Jordan Bennington is.
Oh my god!
Like,
out the pads.
I got bigger legs than him.
Going to this season, how amazed are you with the start that they have had going to the All-Star break coming up very soon?
I mean, of course, right? When you lose arguably the most talented player in any sport, in any capacity, you assume there's going to be some sort of drop-off. And I'm not saying David Perron is as good as Vladimir Tarasenko.
Incredible
but
season.
His impact has been vital. You watch, I mean, the cool thing about Pietrangelo this year as he's playing at an even higher level is like he's playing so well that I think like even the casual hockey person can be like, yo, that dude's dominating back there. Right. Like, like sometimes in high, like even like in football, like someone could be like, man, that left guard played so well today. And I could be like, I don't know, did he? Like what? Like, but then they'd be like, yeah, I just saw his technique and all that. But like, this is a situation where someone who, I mean, he's just dominating.
Yeah.
They bounce back from that 3-game losing streak. They look good. Bennington won that game, I hate to say on his own, pretty much preserved that win last night. There's so much to like. The odds are against the St. Louis Blues. There's only been one team since the cap began that has won back-to-back cups. So I mean the odds are against them. But hey, if there's ever a team, as they would say in a voice like that, if there's ever a team,
Penguins did it from 2010 to 2020. So why can't the Blues?
Yeah,
there it is. I love that confidence. Right. I love the confidence. All right, so Joe, do you have any last questions before I let you go with Ben?
All right, I'm only going to talk about. Well, first off, everyone vote BP57. I think the cutoff time for 10th.
Oh, for voting for him. Yeah.
Please vote for Perron, because truthfully, he should have already been in before the final vote. Yeah. But, definitely vote for him.
Point per game guy, yeah.
Yes, and then finally, I'm only mentioning this just because Fred talked about it today at work. The All-Star Game jerseys, Fred.
Oh, yeah. So I saw the All-Star Game jerseys, and I saw it from a further view away earlier on Twitter. Then I saw another post recently. So I'm actually warming up to the jerseys. Have you seen them yet?
I haven't. Are they? I mean, let's see.
I like them.
These days, well, I was gonna say these days they don't mess up jerseys, but then again, what about those Cardinals? The fans. What do you call it? Players Weekend last year.
Every sport they mess them up.
There we go.
Honestly, I'm going to say that last year in San Jose, I think last year was San Jose, those jerseys were probably my all-time favorite that I've seen that I can remember for the All-Star game. So these jerseys are pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. I think the blue note looks pretty cool in the black and the white. Fred didn't like it earlier, but I'm liking it.
I'm with Fred.
Yeah, I had to warm up to it. Here we go.
I don't know. I don't love it.
I mean, it's
they're
better
than the Players Weekend for 2019.
Right, but you can't base it on that. It's an all-star game now. Like, y'all got to put stars and all kind of backdrops, and they should have had the art there somewhere.
MLB doesn't wear jerseys for the all-star game. They just wear their normal jerseys.
Yeah, that's true. But that's what I'm saying. You can't.
They got how many all-star games you've been in, so Yachty 8, with the little star, but other than that, they don't really put a star or anything.
It's an article saying the St. Louis Blues all-star jerseys are a big eyesore.
I agree. Joe, you from here just like we are. They should at least have the arch with the riverfront or something.
Or a big piece of
they got the arch.
Emo.
They got the arch and trumpets on the inside.
I didn't see that part.
And then
kind of like how they have the St. Louis flag on the inside of our jersey now.
Yeah,
I really like.
The inside, they should have on the backdrop.
And then word is, and Ben, I'll get your opinion on this before we have to go ahead and leave. Alex Ovechkin is not going to be part of the All-Star.
Right.
What is something, and Joe, please add in as well, what is something that needs to change to make the All-Star game more appealing so players don't decide to go ahead and say, you know what, I don't want to play?
It's a great question because it's kind of just been a thing in sports where there's always that one guy. Yep. But I think the difference in this is that he's one of the captains of the teams. So that plays into it. What can change? I mean, you gotta get the players' union involved and all that in reference to motivating these guys. I mean, I don't know. It's tough. It's not an easy fix.
You don't think they should do like the NBA and suspend you for a game or two after the All-Star break?
Golly, I mean, I don't know. I have to think it through before I make it a proclamation.
Right.
It's something to think about. Do
I'm not putting you on the spot.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I think that helped out with the NBA where they penalize guys to say you can't come up with this disguised injury all of a sudden just because you want to go on a vacation.
Right.
And then play the very next game after the All-Star break.
Yeah. So. No, and I just think about Ovechkin himself,
right,
who he goes through his life, wins the cup finally, then makes another run the next year,
right,
and he's older, and he's probably kind of I've done all this crap.
Yeah.
I have nothing else to accomplish.
Keep the players
experience. He's I'm not. There's nothing for me in this.
Right, I understand that. Yeah.
So I see where it's coming from.
That's how I think it. Hockey is, for one, is such a physical sport. Injuries constantly, and like you said, Ovi, he's not old, but for hockey, he's a little bit on the older side. He's been here multiple times in the All-Star game, so why not take a little step back? It'd be cool for younger kids to get to enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that, but on the flip side, you got to think it's some fans here that probably never seen him in person. And that's their only interaction that they can have with them. So you got to have at least that curtain call. You don't have to play in the actual game, but at least suit up.
That'd be different if it was for baseball. That's different because baseball you don't get to see Mike Trout every year. You don't get to see him at least once every. Hockey, you get to see everyone at least once a year. I feel like.
Well, some
baseball,
people, but
we've seen Pujols for the first time since he left.
Right.
And we got to see Mike Trout, which is amazing. I was God coming down from heaven watching Mike Trout play on our field.
Yeah, no, that's true, but it's still some people like I said, I'm just personal with this because I've been to arenas where, even as close as Chicago, and I'm I finally made it to the Bull Stadium, and then Michael Jordan retired, Scottie Pippen was hurt, blah blah blah.
You got to see Dickie Simpkins.
Exactly, and Corey Brewer. I mean, not Corey Brewer, but. like all them guys that you just like, what?
Who was the guy from Iowa
like
State?
that's not who
Marcus
I came.
Fizer.
Marcus Fizer, right? So when you think about people that's Peoria, Illinois type people or something like that, that are kind of close enough, and they like, you know what, I'm gonna go to the NHL All-Star game and check these guys out, and then a person like Ovi decides not to play. You know, that's
hockey's a little different though. Their All-Star game's different than baseball. Like I'm only gonna throw a baseball because that's why I watch it. So baseball's an actual game, AL versus NL. Hockey's like a tournament, and I'm pretty positive it's 3-on-3 now the entire time. It's really like a bracket challenge.
Right. It's just so, like, I mean, it's kind of, go ahead, I'm sorry. It's
kind of boring to watch now, I'm not going to lie. Like, I'd rather watch the skills competition where it's baseball. The home run derby's fun to watch, but I'd rather watch the All-Star game itself.
No, it's no different than the Pro Bowl and the NBA All-Star game. I mean, all these All-Star games, sports all over the place. It's just kind of like a dog and pony show at this point. But like I said,
it's more for a social media type thing. It's fun seeing all the best in the game, playing together, having fun, taking pictures, and it's like I said, it's a social media thing now.
Right. So imagine that picture without Alex Ovechkin. That's what I'm saying. And I can understand the disappointment in the people that actually came for that and missed that opportunity. Even though, like I said, you made great points about him being older and being a more physical sport and everything like that. I'm thinking of it as the fan base. You know, it's always a new kid that's his first experience and things of that nature. So I'm with you on that. But like I said, I just want to throw that point out there. So.
And Bunny, she asked about how the jerseys look like.
Trash.
Just go on Google.
Trash.
Just put in NHL All-Star Game St. Louis jerseys, and you'll see it, and then give us your thoughts later on.
I guarantee they'll look a lot better on the ice.
Well said.
Hopefully,
or on us, you know, have some.
We haven't seen the pants yet, so maybe the pants will set it off. Because the jersey top by itself,
All right, so Joe, we're gonna go ahead and let you go, and I'll see you tomorrow at the job. Great job.
He might call off because it's late.
Nah, I'll be there. We on mandatory overtime for the whole month. So
okay, get that money, man.
Exactly.
Terrible.
So it was great having you on for Joe Knows.
Nice meeting you, Joe.
Nice meeting you, Mr. Hockman.
She said, Mr. Hockman.
I'll take it.
You the man.
I'll take it.
We calling him Hoots tonight. That's Hoots.
You can call me here.
Hey, for one, I have manners. I was raised that way too.
Oh wow!
I'm younger than all you guys. So.
Shout out to my mom that's watching the show because I got manners too.
There it is. All right, that was Joe Knows, and you have a good one, Joe. See you in a couple hours.
All right, see you guys.
Bye.
All right. Once again, great show. Rapid fire real quick. Who are we going for? National championship game next Monday.
Who am I going for? Who do I think's going to win? Well, the answer is the same. LSU. Louisiana State Tigers. That offense, I mean, I love the idea it's number one offense, number one defense, but I think in a scenario like that, I think LSU.
Joe Burrow is playing like he's been in the NFL already and came back.
Right.
It's amazing. But I'm going with LSU, but don't be surprised if Clemson
don't sleep
surprises, because Trevor Lawrence, sunshine.
Don't sleep.
Sunshine.
He's gonna put up some points. Believe it.
It should be an incredible game.
I don't know if it's gonna be like a 63-point outburst that Joe Burrow's trying to put up, but it's gonna be a good game. That's all I care about.
Thoughts on the NFL playoffs?
I just can't wait to see Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
I mean, the fact that he was able to start a game in the playoffs last year to get that under his belt. I mean, I just think because you always think about people progressing in sports, and obviously sometimes guys take crazy steps, no playoffs, and then go to the finals or whatever. But man, he had that experience, and the way he's playing, the way that offense is going. I mean, that should be America's team.
It should
I love the Baltimore.
But I think
offense.
a lot of people gonna look at what the Chiefs did last year, how they came up short just one possession, and say that Mahomes, like especially the way the season started off.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be the most dangerous team in my book. But I also agree with the Lamar Jackson.
Did you see on Facebook people, like if there's like a hurricane, like marked safe, like, Benjamin is marked.
Oh, yeah.
People put marked safe from having to see the Patriots in the Super Bowl again.
Yeah.
So is the NFL and college better right now without having Alabama and New England?
Yeah, because I mean... I'm excited about.
He loves Alabama, so.
Oh well, that's a personal thing then. Yeah, it's a personal
He
thing.
just made me cuss. Yeah. What are we doing here, man? We talking about the NFL. They ain't got nothing to do with what we talking about. Damn.
Did you see that on social media?
The Saints ain't in it neither. What the Rams? Like, just kick me all. Right, like kick me all of the balls right there.
Center
hey, good night.
Yeah.
I've been Brian Baker. I'm out of here. Jeez.
Do you think Brady will come back next year and with the Patriots?
I think okay, so they said that Tennessee could be a good fit because it's Vrabel's the coach, the running back's amazing, and they have a lot of cap space. Gosh, does that entice you, Tom Brady, to bring a championship to Nashville? I mean, I don't know.
Right, he going West Coast.
Yeah, I think he would maybe try to do that. The idea of winning a championship in Los Angeles.
Right, because you know he don't have a house in Tennessee.
Right.
Stop playing.
Yeah.
Ain't no 43-year-old Tom Brady going to stay in Tennessee.
Right.
We know that. Giselle not coming.
Yeah. Though Nashville is cooler than it used to be.
Actually, I will be in Nashville on Monday. Nashville's a very cool place. It's actually on the radar for my next move.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. But
that being said,
just me talking, not Tom Brady.
Right.
You know, we not on the same wavelength, no kind of way. Except for me mentioning his name on this show.
Right.
NFC, who do you have?
In the end, I had the Saints, so I don't know what to do now.
Man,
me
too.
I don't know, man. I'm so depressed. I guess. I mean, I'm fascinated by Minnesota now.
Yeah,
I'm fascinated by them. I don't know.
You like that?
I hope they for real, man. I hope we ain't just lose to some old fluke that just happened out of nowhere.
Right.
Dalvin Cook ran us all over. You know, Stephon Diggs always been that guy since the playoff performance he had last year, but.
Do y'all see?
I say Seattle.
Do y'all see this divisional wild being just as crazy as the wild card wild was?
Yeah, I think this is going to be an amazing weekend. Crazy. I think it's going to be must-see TV, as they would say.
We're going to see if the 49ers exactly who we think they are.
Yeah.
They are who we thought they were.
This the playoff 49ers. It ain't regular season.
Right.
You know, we're going to see if Jimmy G is who everybody said they were. And he got so many weapons around him. You know what I mean? So if everybody stay healthy.
Nobody's bad in the playoffs, though. Like, no, there's not a bad.
It's not a bad team, but there's no favorites, though.
Right.
That's
so
the thing.
Real quick, we have this Saturday Vikings at the 49ers.
Yep.
That's on NBC. And then Titans at Ravens on CBS. Then Sunday, Texans at the Chiefs on CBS. And then last but not least, Seahawks at the Packers. I have the Seahawks beating the Packers.
Me too. I think Jadeveon Clowney gonna get his payday on that game right there. I just got a feeling about that, man.
I have the Chiefs beating the Texans.
Okay.
Ravens beating the Titans, but it'd be a close game.
Yeah.
The best way for the Titans to win this game is time possession.
Yeah. I agree.
If you run the ball with Derrick Henry and don't give Lamar Jackson them time to do their thing,
Right.
you got a great chance
If
to
you
win.
paid attention to the last two Super Bowls, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
The last possession. You know what I mean, so if you break it down to even the playoffs period, but that's a great point. I agree.
And then once again, Vikings and 49ers, that's a toss-up game to me.
Yeah, it is, because the Vikings are slept on, man.
Yeah.
I'm one of them. I just woke up.
And sometimes it takes that one big game, because no one really thought.
But why it got to be against us?
Right. No,
Like, y'all couldn't do that against nobody else.
How many people really thought that the Saints would lose
Not me.
the first round?
I thought we was going to blow them out.
So does that say that the New Orleans Superdome isn't home field advantage anymore?
Oh,
Hell no.
well, I don't know
Stop
about
playing.
no,
No.
I don't know, man.
You used to live in New Orleans, you know.
Yeah, that's a heck of an advantage. To be honest.
Exactly.
And again, they got so screwed on that Rams play last year. Talk about one day changing history.
Last game.
Yeah.
Because that was literally a pass interference to push off, but I understand, it's not a major push off, but that was a touchdown that hurt us, man.
Yeah.
And they probably would have scored after that, but still, it's always a controversial call when it comes to the Saints. Let's just put it.
Yeah.
NBA, should Zion Williamson play this season?
Okay. Yes, I think if he is, I mean, if he is 100% healthy, and he could get some playing time, I'm fine with it. They're playing actually not terribly with Lonzo starting, or did he come? They made a change with Lonzo lately. Yeah,
because Drew Holiday out.
Yeah, and obviously Ingram putting up points. Yeah, I don't see why you don't. I don't see why you hold him out if he's already doing 5-on-5 stuff. I saw.
Yes,
and it's January, whatever, early January. So yeah.
And the Pelicans, if you look at the standings, they are only 4 games out of the last spot in the playoffs.
That's incredible. Damn. Really?
Just 4 games off.
No.
Yes, the 8 seed is the Spurs.
Wow.
And they're 13.5, and the Pelicans are 17.5.
They're 13-25, but it's in a bad West.
So Zion could actually change the whole landscape of them getting to the playoffs.
You know what stunk though? Like, how many times have you guys done this? We're like, all right, let's see what national NBA games on tonight. Oh, it's somebody awesome against the Pelicans.
Right. The Pelicans have been on so much national TV
because they thought Zion was going to be on.
It's not ESPN or ABC or anything like that. They own NBA TV.
I've seen so much. Brandon Ingram and JJ Redick.
You think Brandon Ingram's an all-star?
No. I mean, maybe the numbers are good, but like it's really hard to say a guy from a losing team without a pedigree should be an all-star.
What you said about Trae Young.
But you look at Bradley Beal though, who has a pedigree of winning. And now is playing an even higher level.
Well, he's already been an all-star too, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He has the pedigree. Where I don't know if he's.
So what about Trae Young with him leading the guard spot?
He
in the
has
East?
to be.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, if he gets voted in, he can't do anything about it.
Right,
if he doesn't, I apologize for being wishy-washy, but without the other names in front of me, it's hard to say yes or no.
I understand, yeah.
But I'm clearly hesitant about putting a
with
guy
the fact that he's actually leading the All-Star votes. That's crazy to me.
Oh, that's the question. Yes, that is very crazy.
Yeah.
The 1 year Kansas City led in like 8 positions in baseball for whatever reason. You have to wonder about the fans getting into it.
On your screen now, you have the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference top vote leaders right now.
Yep. So as you can see,
Trae Young number 1. He probably gonna be starting.
That's what I said.
Oh
yeah.
That's what I said. Because Kyrie obviously not playing. Right. And he still got him beat out. And then, you got Kemba right behind him, Derrick Rose, which will actually be sentimentally a pretty good thing to have Derrick Rose in the All-Star game.
In Chicago.
Is it in Chicago?
In Chicago, yes. It's in Chicago, right down.
Beautiful.
So, and then you got hometown Zach LaVine.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons, please fall farther than that. So.
Jaylen Brown is one of the most fascinating athletes these days. He's I've read some interviews with him. He's a wise thinker. And he takes his defense seriously. Maybe not as much as his teammate Marcus Smart, but he takes it seriously.
He's a very eclectic guy,
and
man.
he's scoring.
Speaking of which, this could be the year that Tatum makes the All-Star team.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that'd be really cool.
I brought this up during our final say segment, and maybe it's something that could be like, if you do it, I need like 5% if you do this.
Yeah.
But we have so much praise about Jason Tatum, about like Ben McLemore, how he did the Rockets
and turned his career around this year.
Exactly. The guy who played with Golden State, but
Patrick McCaw.
Patrick McCaw, the Bradley Beals. But in sports, we don't talk too much about Randy Orton, the wrestler.
Oh, that's interesting.
I actually forgot that he was from here until he brought up last show.
Now he was born in Tennessee, but he went to high school in Hazelwood East.
Oh, he grew up in Florissant. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And he always, every show on TV, they say from St. Louis, Missouri, Randy Orton. When they come in town, whether he is a heel, which is a bad guy, or a face, he always said, "This is my home." I don't think that he gets enough praise.
That's interesting. I haven't. Yeah, I mean, sure, because I think the casual person maybe doesn't look at him as an athlete. I'm not trying to insult. He could kick all of our butts, but I mean, is he a professional athlete?
Well, because the actor's standpoint with wrestling. This is what they've introduced me to with wrestling, because I lost probably since I was like 13. Once I found out wrestling was fake, they lost me.
Wait, what?
Wrestling
is what?
Fake.
Wait a second. What part of it's fake?
The whole thing, Ben.
That makes no sense to me. Anyway,
the athletic point I get, but it's stage.
You take.
It's on a stage. Yes, it's on a stage.
You take a DDT or
it's on a soft mat and it stays. I understand this. I understand, bro. I understand.
Well, I guess the question would be back to you is like, what literally do you want to occur? Do you want more people?
Well, the outcome,
in
like the outcome should always be a question mark. Like it's whoever actually wins the bout.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, like in reference to giving Randy Orton more love.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. Like, well, my point with that was, and I'm gonna let you take off. I'm sorry, but I didn't even realize he was. I knew it before, but I forgot until he brought it up that he was actually from St. Louis.
Gotcha. Because his debut was back in 2002, so he has longevity. And he's one of the most famous wrestlers. He's like a 10 or 12 time.
So since you
world
graduated
champion,
from college, basically.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like St. Louis media doesn't give him enough.
As an ambassador.
Well, that leads. It's funny we're talking about this because I would be like the conduit here. It would be me going to the sports editor or an editor of our paper and asking him if what his thoughts would be if I did a thing on Orton.
Right.
And he might. I don't know what he'd say. Right. And I guess we'll have to find out. And that's the same for Frank Cruz Miles Channel 5 and Brooke Grims at Channel 4 and everybody at their stations talking to their bosses like, do you consider this a sports story or not? Regardless, it's an amazing St. Louis story that this human from here has become a multimillionaire, et cetera. But the question is like, the question is, should that be on the sports page or is it something more like for the front page of the whole newspaper? Just from looking at it from my vantage point. Right. But I think if you said like name awesome celebs from St. Louis, everyone's going to say the standard people: Nelly, John Hamm, Bradley Beal, what have you. But they're not going to say Randy Orton.
And that's what I was going to say. Like when you got to think about like say you go on vacation somewhere. Yeah. And somebody, you tell them I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. They're like, where is that? Where Nelly's from and Ozzie Smith. Like, that's not a name you're going to throw out there. And they're like, oh, yeah, Randy Orton.
And that's right. That's why
maybe when you go to Tennessee.
Maybe when you go to Tennessee, right?
That's why I'm advocating that needs to change.
Exactly, because I'm like, I'm from here and didn't even like really realize.
I'll gently ask the sports editor. If I can do something on Randy.
Yeah, like I know there's one thing when I travel abroad, like the Cardinals and Nelly is like the two things you can get people to centralize St. Louis. They're like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Right. But other than that, they're like, who? What? Where?
It's a major American city.
Okay,
though.
You know where Chicago is, right? We like 4 hours away from them.
Right.
Yeah, so that's how you gotta.
So we have a segment called "Congrats, You Were Right." So there's someone that you know that has said something that relating to sports that was like, I can see this happening, or I bet this is going to happen, and it did happen.
Oh wow!
You would say, "Congrats, you were right." So to me, I'm gonna go and start off first. To Annie Greer, if you're watching, she used to play for the 3-time champion St. Louis Slam. It's the professional ladies football team.
Okay.
Here in St. Louis, and she said earlier about all the head coaching moves that's been going on in the NFL recently.
Yeah.
You know that Dallas recently has Mike McCarthy, and I was like, before they hired McCarthy, they was talking about Marvin Lewis. Yeah. And she was like, oh, no, that's just part of the Rooney rules. So they can just go ahead and add someone on just to say, well, we got at him. And then they went on, and they knew at the end of the day that they wanted Mike McCarthy.
Right. Yeah.
And with people now like Stephen A. Smith, and Max Kellerman, other guys from ESPN, even outside of ESPN.
Yeah, Rob Parker really grilled about it, man.
They're not happy with how the NFL is using or lack thereof of the Rooney rule. But she said, that was just to get him in there as a minority. Yep. And she was right because they knew at the end of the day they wanted Mike McCarthy. Yep. No matter who they hired, who they interviewed, they knew who they wanted. So for me, congrats, Andy, you were right.
Yep.
You have anything?
Saw it coming.
I'm gonna let Ben go first.
Gosh, but I'm bad at this game. I'm trying to think of who is. I think everyone I know is always wrong.
Well, I'm gonna just say mine. My congratulations, right, are the people that said, and I hate to say this, man, but the people that was on Dwight Howard.
Oh, yeah.
Like me.
They said that he was gonna be an impact player, and we were sleeping on. He just had some injuries, and he's gonna be a good fit. Yep. And I was like, hell no, Dwight Howard washed up and got too much off the court problems and blah blah blah. And this dude, and not only has he been playing good, but he actually gonna be in the slam dunk contest.
That's fun, yeah.
But now he reported that he did not confirm that.
Okay, so allegedly he gonna be in the slam dunk contest. Okay, but even the fact that they entertaining it, he couldn't do it any other year.
Right.
You know what I mean? So anybody that challenged me on the Dwight Howard thing, I reluctantly say, and I'm only saying this because Ben got me in a good mood, and I hope that y'all sleeping not watching this right now. But when y'all go back and see it, y'all was right.
Man, yeah, because he was so anti, like, oh, nah, they got Dwight Howard on the Lakers. Oh, man, you know what? I'm a Clippers fan.
I left the Lakers for a temporary time because of him.
Why? Oh, when they
signed Dwight, I was like, this is the weirdest mix of talent I've ever seen in my life. Like, no, we already kind of weird already. Now y'all adding Dwight Howard.
Sure.
It's like,
you got JaVale.
Like, how's that going to work? You got Anthony Davis and LeBron. Then you got guys like Caruso. And then we just, for whatever reason, can't get rid of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
Right.
He's just always around. Rondo. Yeah. Like, it's weird. Danny Green. I mean,
and right now they have the best record in the West. And damn near in the whole league. Let me go back. But they can't beat the
Clippers.
Sure can't.
So
let's see if they can do it 4 times.
Exactly. So that's my thing with the beginning of the season where I was saying where I feel like the Clippers have a better overall team, even though they got a superstar that made me leave them very quickly because this guy don't even show up to work every day.
Lakers are 1 game off from having the best record in all of basketball behind the Milwaukee Bucks.
Get that Game 7 finals.
Yeah,
man,
that Game
7. Yeah. That'd be good.
So do you have one?
I don't. I mean, no, it's getting late. Yeah,
I got you.
My head's moving slower.
Right.
All right. Is this your leader? Did you have anything?
Did I have is this your leader? Let me check my little notes. I had to put some notes in because I was moving a lot this week. No, I didn't have a this your leader.
Okay, yeah, I don't have one either. Now, once again, this is just 2 people who you want to say you feel is your best leader. So, do you have anything off top of your head?
You get to choose my 2. Mm-hmm. Okay, Mike Schilt, Joe Madden.
Woo, good question.
Damn, Joe Madden been on here like what 3 times?
Yeah,
now?
he has.
Okay.
Wow. That's a great question. I will have to give a slight edge. Let's see, let me put myself.
Right.
There we go. Give a slight edge to. Man, it's tough.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna say so. It's all on you this time.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Joe Madden.
Wow.
I am.
He's won the World Series. Now he's at the Angels.
Because I feel like the Angels are finally about to be relevant because of Joe Madden.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He brings a different vibe to a team.
Mm-hmm.
He brings more life. I feel like the Cubs made a huge mistake letting him go.
Yep.
And they're going to look back and be like, why did I let this guy go? He just won a championship for you 3 years ago.
He got y'all past the beast, which was us.
And it was ego by Theo Epstein that let him go.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Joe Madden was the right guy for the Cubs, and now he's going to be the perfect guy to have the Angels go back to the playoffs.
What have they done without Joe Madden?
Who?
The Cubs. What have they done without Joe Madden?
Yeah.
It's a wrap. That's a wrap. But
he's your leader.
I'm gonna say.
I'll tell Short you said that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
And then tell him to come on our show, and then he can argue.
You won Manager of the Year last year, and a St. Louis guy.
Prove to me why I'm wrong.
Come tell us. Come tell us to our face.
Prove to me why I am wrong. Okay,
right.
Bro, you're tripping. That is pretty much you give a hot take of something that you feel may happen that we may say, bruh, you tripping.
Oh, well, that's my Minnesota Vikings winning the NFC.
Oh.
They're not mine, but they are now because I had the Saints. I'm not saying like it's,
I did too, though. Yeah.
I mean, I just the way they won that game.
Right.
I can't blame you for real because the NFL. We always say it's any given Sunday, anything can happen.
Yep.
It's all about which team is the hottest. And with the Vikings beating the Saints, sorry, B, but that could be that kind of victory that can propel them to be like, you know what, we can do this.
6 seed, 7. What are they? Were they the 6 seed or the 5? Whatever seed. They weren't the 1 seed.
Yeah,
but
they definitely won that.
There's been low seeds that have gone to the Super
6
Bowl
seed.
before.
Right,
Yeah.
Giants. Remember they won it? Yeah.
So
when the Giants beat the Patriots, undefeated year too. That was crazy.
You have anything?
Shit. Tyson Fury gonna knock out Deontay Wilder.
Bro, you tripping.
Okay.
It ain't going down.
You follow boxing?
I don't.
Okay, all right.
But isn't Fury like a bad guy?
Fury, no, he's a good guy.
He's a good person?
Yeah, he's a real good person.
Okay, I'm thinking.
But he's like the underdog in this fight, even though he got the most wins and everything. Like Deontay Wilder actually, honestly, got the highest knockout percentage in boxing history.
Oh wow!
Like this dude knocks out everybody, even more than Tyson, Ali,
Sure.
all the guys.
Wow.
So the last fight, just to put you up on speed, and I'm not gonna keep you long, but Tyson Fury is a better actual boxer.
Okay.
Winning the whole fight. Deontay in the 12th round finally caught him with one.
Oh, he was one. Yeah.
Out. I mean, he was done.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like Fred said, like the Undertaker, it was like when they got to 7, he just popped up and just got up for no reason. It was like we thought he was out, so they called him a draw. So now the rematch is coming up next month. So you know, two big guys too, man. There's gonna be 2 6'7", 6'8" guys.
Oh wow.
Big dudes, heavyweight fight, and it's gonna be entertaining, man.
And Tyson Fury for a while did have a match in the WWE as well.
Oh really?
Yeah.
My bro, you're tripping. Colin Kaepernick should be the face of the XFL.
You tripping?
Well, I mean, I would love to see him happily playing in the XFL, but I think he's created something bigger than the XFL.
I was gonna say the same thing.
That it's almost like a big recruit going to like Stony Brook to play basketball.
Right.
I don't know. Again, it's late, but bad analogy. But
it's almost like when Larry Hughes went to SLU.
Yeah.
Because we from here, but it was like, what? Like,
Yeah.
okay, all right. Well, it worked out for him.
Worked out,
yeah.
But I mean, I think it would almost hinder what he's trying to do.
Exactly, yeah.
Yep.
All right. Next one is what if. So any kind of scenario, it could be from something from the past that may have happened that you feel like what if that would have changed and altered the course, or something that could happen in the future. What if? So any kind of scenario that you want to bring up.
Well, I think a fun what if is what if the Rams had won the Super Bowl against the Patriots?
You know what, Sadal? I think Sadal, he was our former host before B. Baker took over. I think he brought this up before, but that would have changed the whole landscape of the Rams.
Or what if Bradford didn't get hurt?
Oh man, yeah, that's good.
But I mean, this is before Bradford, but.
Yeah,
Mike Morris probably would have stayed longer.
Yep.
Brady wouldn't be probably
he wouldn't be Tom Brady.
Brady-ish as he is right now in New England and everything. That would have changed the whole landscape of the
With
NFL.
the Rams, I guess I was thinking more.
And the Rams would have stayed in St. Louis.
Would they
too.
would they
had to multiple championships, and they probably would have got more than that after
exactly.
that.
So. And the Bradford thing is more, I guess, relevant to the argument because if he had truly performed at his peak and not gotten injured and been, they probably would have been a better football team, and thus as the years crept closer to 2015. You wonder if they would be able to pack up and move a winning team.
That's true.
And I brought this up on the final say, but if Jeff Fisher would have treated Bradford the way John Harbaugh treats Lamar Jackson, in which you allow him to play the game that brought him to the NFL.
Right.
When Bradford was in Oklahoma, he was a shotgun quarterback that played no huddle a lot. And he strived off of that because he had an accurate arm, the deep passes. But we all knew that Jeff Fisher was an old school mentality, run first kind of guy, and that wasn't the kind of guy that Bradford was. And he wanted Bradford to adapt to Jeff Fisher, except for Jeff Fisher adapting to Sam Bradford.
Right.
So I feel like Jeff Fisher stunted Bradford's growth.
Sure.
Because when he went to Minnesota and when he wasn't hurt, he shined. When he went to Philadelphia and he wasn't hurt,
Right.
he shined.
Right.
But Jeff Fisher, he got so much in his ways, it affected Bradford being the kind of guy that he should have been.
Here's a Hoosier leader where you take neither Jeff Fisher or Jason Garrett.
Oh my God.
Neither.
Right. Because I ain't picking neither one.
Right.
I mean, Jeff Garrett did go to the playoffs more than Jeff Fisher did with the Rams.
Oh, Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
So.
But
They in the weakest division in football.
But Jeff Fisher did go to one Super Bowl.
That's true.
Right. They in the weakest division in football.
And lost thanks to Mike Jones.
Yeah.
Mike
Right. Yeah.
That's another name that should be more popular in St. Louis.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
We talked about that
He's
last
coaching.
show, too.
What school is he coaching?
He
now?
was at SLU High. Is he still
Okay.
there?
Yeah, he's still
I
there.
don't know.
I haven't heard anything different. What if? Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
So my what if is what if Kevin Love gets traded for Kuzma? Is that a good or a bad deal?
So that's what you were talking about earlier.
Can you?
No, they ain't even it. Yeah.
Can you have all three? Can you have Love, Davis, and
LeBron.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like if you trade straight up Kyle Kuzma for Kevin Love, does that team get better or worse?
I think the team gets better. I think the team gets better, but is that the move? They're already the top team in the
Right,
West.
because you got to think about the role that Kevin Love is going to play for them. He's not going to start.
Right.
And you got to think, he got to carry this second unit. Like Kyle Kuzma is this young, athletic guy that comes in and kind of on that secondary unit that brings that energy. So with Kevin Love as a seasoned veteran that plays a slow, methodical game, even though he's a better overall player, is he better fit for the Lakers to say, hey, we're going to trade you this young guy that got all this potential that could potentially be something later on, rather than Kevin Love where you got this 3 or 4 year window, like it's going to have to happen right now.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you stuck with this lemon.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's my what if.
Like a Matt Carpenter.
Right.
Mine is what if Tom Brady retires?
Bye.
I mean, what if the Patriots take a step back and he's the greatest football player of all time because he retired and now his career is over?
Or no?
He should have retired last year, and that would have made it more solidified.
How would that really affect the Patriots?
Oh, I mean,
The Patriots going to have some down years coming up.
yeah, I mean, I was reading about him today, actually. The backup quarterback whose name I can't remember.
Brian Hoyer, ain't it?
No, it was
Hey, somebody else.
but they said they kind of liked him. I mean, I don't know. I mean, clearly they have more issues than just replacing
What
Tom
if they would
Brady.
have kept Jimmy G and got rid of Tom Brady when they had the opportunity?
Right. Well, yeah.
So would they have won that championship last year?
Yeah, and you could do the same thing with Favre, right, in
Exactly.
Green Bay.
Exactly.
And here's Green Bay again as a
Coming
number
up,
2
yeah,
seed, I
yeah.
believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, New England Patriots roster. Where are they at real quick? Come on now. I'm trying to find the. Oh, here we go. Team should be right here. Trying to find the roster so I can see.
I think the fact that he's anonymous, so he doesn't have a name, kind of captures what we're
Exactly.
looking for.
We gotta look him up.
And
We gotta,
also,
right.
what's crazy is that how the New York Giants this got Joe Judge from the Patriots.
And
no one even knew who he was.
Who the hell they trying to get to be the offensive coordinator though?
Jason Garrett.
Oh, wow.
Do you know that? Yeah, here we go. Jared Stidham.
There it is, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the guy I was reading about.
Yeah,
then-
yeah, that guy.
And
Right.
then Cody
exactly.
Kessler
Right.
is third string.
Okay.
So, yeah.
None of them jump off your page like that. So okay.
Any more what else be good?
Nah.
That being said, I don't know if Jacoby, was it Brissett,
Okay,
would have
yeah.
didn't pop off my page in August or September, whenever that was, and
Exactly.
I don't think they played pretty well, right?
Yeah,
What was
he
their
did-
record?
he did his- I don't know the exact record, but he
Yeah.
did his thing though.
Yeah. Better than we thought.
Exactly.
All right. Idiot of the week. Self-explanatory.
Right.
Someone in sports who did something stupid that cost them.
Alex Ovechkin for not wanting to come to St. Louis.
Hey.
There you go, man. That's
In the-
man. You should have came here. I'm with him. I'm with Ben on that one. My idiot of the week is the Eagles for letting go of Nick Foles.
Okay.
Because no matter how much potential Carson Wentz supposedly has, this guy stays injury prone. He hasn't done anything really. He had an amazing regular season that year, but who got y'all the Super Bowl? Was Nick Foles.
Right.
All right. Mine is, I got two. One is Bill Polian. He was the guy before or during the time that Lamar Jackson was drafted that said Lamar Jackson should be a running back. He shouldn't be a quarterback.
Well,
then he admits, okay, I was wrong about that. So they were talking about the MVP voting. Mm-hmm. And there were two people that didn't vote unanimously for Lamar Jackson.
And
one of those people.
This idiot that said
who did he have, though?
I had to find out who it was. All I know
who was running besides
exactly.
Yeah.
Who had like Aaron Rodgers or something, or Russell Wilson. But just to the fact that you still did not want to choose Lamar Jackson.
Well, it was on brand, if anything.
Exactly.
Like, come on.
Now you
that's what it is.
All right, second is Rob Gronkowski. So, you know how when you have celebrity on a show and they have you just coming in, just smashing everything. Whatever comes, you just smash it. Use a big hammer and do your thing. So, he was on the New Year's Eve thing on Fox, which Steve Harvey was hosting. And once again, he was smashing things, right?
Like Gallagher.
And there was, like Gallagher. Google him, y'all. Mm-hmm. So Steve Harvey had Gronk smashing a couple items, and then this happened here. It's
a Lego head of Steve Harvey.
Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. Everybody can't hear it. Let me make sure I get the right sound here.
So someone made a Lego head of Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
Which probably took a long time.
I mean, you could have just put a Mr. Potato Head up there. What uniform do you have on?
I don't want to work with him no more. Why is he here? Why are you here? What is wrong with you?
Oh, my God.
You're mentally imbalanced. This nut right here that broke the...
So he wasn't supposed to break it?
You know how hard it is to get them Legos? What are you doing?
I don't know. I look staged.
So,
no, I don't think so.
So, yes, he had a Lego of Steve Harvey Potato Head or whatever it was. It was a Lego version of Steve Harvey, and he took it from the mantle and threw it on the ground. He was not supposed to get that at all.
Yeah, I see that.
He was like smashing other different items, but then he went on and said, let me grab this Steve Harvey one.
Oh, my God.
If anybody
Steve
like
Harvey
me
was straight livid, like literally livid on Fox.
I know
live.
Ben feel me on this because we from the same era, man. If you ever put together a Lego set,
it ain't easy.
Right.
With that kind of precision and detail.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of hurt, man.
Yeah.
So I see why he your idiot of the week. Yeah. I see now. Yeah.
So, Rob Gronkowski, you are the idiot of the week. Once again, this has been an incredible show.
Great to have you.
Yeah, it's fun to do it.
Yes, Ben Hockman came through to the getaway and done an incredible job. Hopefully, we can get you back again very soon.
Yeah.
It won't be this long next time.
We promise.
We just had to let you take over for a little while.
Right.
It's fun.
It's definitely been an honor. Hopefully, you can let people know about our show.
Yeah.
The word, so we get more guests to come up and do their thing. Our last one is Final Say.
Yeah.
So this is it could be positive, negative. Your thoughts about anything sports related that you just want to let everybody know about. Just give you the floor without any interruptions. So you got something, B?
Yeah, I got something, man. So on a serious note, honestly, man, I ain't gonna lie. I've been kind of emotional about this all day with the troops going over to Iran. You saw that prayer video I put up. They had the troops in service praying, and it just really hit home. So it just got me thinking, with that being tying it to sports, when you think of guys like Yasiel Puig, what he had to go through to leave Cuba to come to America to play baseball. He had to hike for 30 hours, and he got turned down 3 times, only to have one of his friends that was a popular boxer in Cuba to help him out with a Miami Connect to get over here. Guys like Enes Kanter, with him speaking up about Turkey, and they had a travel ban on him to where whatever team he played for, they couldn't play against the Raptors over in Canada because he couldn't travel abroad. I just think that, with the military, it's the greatest sports team that we have. If I want to tie it to that. So I just want to salute all you guys for standing up for this country. It's just heartbreaking to see what these people got to go through. If you see the video on my page or anybody else's page, to see how young these people are. Mm-hmm. These men and women that are defending us right now because of the personal beef that somebody has with somebody else. And to find out that this country, when you see their side of it, saying that they don't have any problem with Americans, they have a problem with the way our president is running things. That's the problem that really got me emotional about it, because people gonna lose their lives, come back mentally, kind of messed up, physically, what kind of ailments they're gonna have, and not only for Americans, but the Iranians. Like, I know we don't know a lot of Iranians and everything like that, but they still people too. So the fact that we have to go to war with another country over greed and things like that is really heartbreaking, man. And honestly, man, I honestly, for real, shed a tear watching that video earlier. And so I just want to send my condolences out to the families of anyone that's dealing with any of this. And, hopefully the troops come back safe and sound, and we can resolve this issue that we have with Iran right now. So
we'll see it.
Well said.
Anything you want to say?
Oh gosh, I can't top that or try to even.
No, anything, man. Anything. It's not a competition.
You're not top that. That's a very strong way to end that segment.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Definitely.
For me, we talked about him earlier just a little bit in regards to JaVale McGee.
Yeah.
I'm really big on, as I say, about SLU and Mizzou, about progress, about changing the narrative.
Yeah.
JaVale McGee, we could think about him before he went to the Lakers. You always thought about what? Him
sacking the fool.
Exactly. Him always doing some crazy stuff, being the laughing stock of the NBA. I mean, Shaq clowned him, in which it got kind of serious between him and JaVale McGee for a minute. But since he's been on the Lakers, this man has been a respectable center.
Yep.
He's came in and done his thing. He has changed the narrative of what people have thought about him. They no longer see JaVale McGee, he gonna do something stupid or silly or crazy.
Right.
No, this man is he had like a 6-block game other day. Him, Dwight Howard, AD, they are a force for the Lakers on defense. He's starting every game. He's not coming off the bench. He's doing his thing, and he could possibly win another championship because he's changed the narrative. He's changed his game around so people don't see him as a laughingstock.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of sports, is that people can see you as one thing or assume that you can't change your ways. I always talk about your weaknesses. He's changed the weakness to be one of his strengths. And like I said, he's a respected guy now.
Yep.
And he's not no more a laughingstock. So I appreciate guys like him for taking everything that he took in, from the Shaq and the Fool to whatever, and now he's a serious threat on a dominant team in the hardest conference in the NBA.
Coming off a championship.
You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him. Yeah. And that is our show.
Yes.
Once again, Ben Hockman, thank you very much.
Oh, I had fun. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Enjoyed it.
Yes.
Thanks everybody for watching.
Yes. Once again, share this video as many times as you would like to all of your people.
Make sure y'all tune in to the Post-Dispatch. Now y'all got a face connected to the columns that you're gonna read.
And a nose.
And a nose, and his hair, and a hoodie.
And jokes and everything.
Right. And you know his wife's name. Like, we know a lot about this guy. Class of 98.
That's right.
We know so much about this guy now, man.
Yeah, so this has been an incredible show. I was looking forward to this since the moment that you and I met.
It was fun. I'm glad we did this.
So, now I get on this is an incredible show that we do. Like I said, we just love to discuss sports and just get into it. So it's been fun.
Yep.
This is the Platform Sports Talk Show.
Yeah.
I am your boy Smooth, along with
B. Baker
and special guest
The Hooch.
Ben Hockman from the STL Today / Post-Dispatch.
Yeah.
And Stan, we hope to see you next
sir,
week.
man.
I know you've been gone the last couple of weeks because of personal matters. Hope everything gets better, and we'll see you next week. And next week, we will have Kirkwood High School football coach / he's a minister at my church, Butler by Note. He'll be back First time in the getaway. Last time he was at one of our super shows we had at Smoke Session. But he'll be back next week to discuss more high school football.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a fun month.
See what Jeremy Macklin, was his nephew or his little brother?
Yeah.
Jay Macklin?
Yeah.
I think it's a cousin.
Cousin, okay, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But he's a mentor of him.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I saw him at the signing. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we have a whole lot more in store for y'all. 2020, when it's about sports,
it becomes our business.
And business just picked up. Stay smooth, my friends. We out.
Later, y'all.